Sturt versus the Eagles, and your commentator is Mark Nayley.
Just waiting, the ruckman, Briglands for the Eagles side, up against Waltham for the Double Blues. Good bounce to start today's proceedings. Double Blues need another victory. The Eagles been going on very nicely. Number 9 coming out there was Floriani. Gets the ball up towards the half-forward flank. Great defensive action there. Coming back to like Robinson. Gets the handball forward. Chance here for the Eagles to go forward once again. 25 in the action there was Darren Holland. Can't go on. The free kick will come back. Number 10 is Nathan Irvin. Irvin gives it across to Richter. Umpire still hasn't blown time back on, so we'll go back. The kick will be taken by Matthew Powell and not Matthew Irvin. Good kick by Powell. Goes out wide. White comes out. He gets one hand of the ball. Good work there by Lennon. Gets the ball up forward. Out coming hard was Woosnam. Head over the top of the football. Rogers gives it across now to Colville. Ends up with it. Chance for Double Blues to go forward through Weatherall, throwing his weight around. Not much of it, but he did throw it around. Double Blues go forward again. Chance here for Rogers to run back onto the football. Coming out hard. Double Blues forwards. Couldn't be taken. Again, the Eagles defence holding strong. 13 coming out was Pearce. Pearce gets the ball out to the wing. Brixland knocks the ball forward. Comes out to Colville. Plenty of pace. Kicks the ball up lovely up forward. Good spoil from behind. Was 18 was Geddes. Comes to ground. The Eagles, the forward line, dives over the top of the football, keeping it in the area. Double Blues defence holding strong.
Well, the Eagles are pumped, aren't they? Two excellent efforts by both their players. Rep Biglands, the big man, just came charging through, hit a 50-50 ball, and then Jason Dillon did the exact same thing. So Mark Micken will be pleased with that.
Pavlich dumps it down the throat of Colville. The kick was smothered. Great work by little fellow Sicolella. Flicks it out wide. Oh, good tackle. Great tackle deep in defence. And it was Nathan Irvin applying the tackle for the Double Blues. He is a strong, hard-running wingman. And his second half last week was terrific. Great work on Dillon. Loose ball. The Double Blues through Robertson. Floriani crashes through. He's a tough young fellow, and he goes forward. Did it pretty well. McGregor one-handed attempt, couldn't take it. 14 over the top of the ball is Spiro Darzanos. He's a quick, flighty little player. Tries to turn it around the corner, in trouble. Lennon releases it to Powell. Powell caught by Darzanos. Great tackle, but Powell was strong enough to shrug the tackle. Over the top it goes to Lennon, and the Double Blues run it out of defence.
Wide again in the action. Plays from behind in this situation. Chance now for Kennett. Couldn't get his hold of the football. Floriani feeds the ball out. 22 running past there is Fruin. Gets the short kick in. The Eagles go forward once again. The chance here for the mark to be taken. He can just make some ground in Young. Couldn't quite get there. From behind is Geddes. He'll give the handball back to Powell. Powell go over his left shoulder. Can see a player out there in Lennon. Couldn't quite find his target, and it's out of bounds.
Well, I'm very impressed with the way the Eagles are going about their work at the moment. They're hitting every 50-50 contest with fierceness, and I think Mark Micken has obviously fired him up and said, we're going to really take the Double Blues on early, otherwise they'll walk all over us.
It'll be a tough encounter. The Double Blues are up to the challenge. They've really withstood this Eagles onslaught early. Pearce for the Eagles goes towards centre forward. It's Pavlich, the young superstar. The 17-year-old is 45 out directly in front, and with a healthy 13 goals, 6 to his name.
Well, if he's 17, what's he been on? He is huge. I've heard a lot about this lad, but the size of his legs.
Well, his dad, Steve, was a Eagles champion back in the 70s and 80s. Well-schooled.
Sauce, son of Steve.
And he's got a pretty good kicking action. He stays over it. This one he's dragged to the left slightly, but he looks pretty good in the approach to the kick.
Well, his hands were excellent when he came out and marked that ball then, out in front, strong hands. And I tell you what, 17 years of age, I think I was right about he won't be in this competition next year. He's already a fully developed adult, let alone with some 2 years in the gym.
Great kick there by Threadgold, good 60 metres. The mark was taken there by Robson. Gives the ball across to Richter. Richter now falls over, trying to receive the ball back from Lennon. Pachira couldn't do much with it. Back in there again. Great tackling, great defensive work there by the Eagles forwards. Just couldn't quite keep it in there, but they forced the error. Sicarella takes it. Goes out wider.
Barker.
So many new players in this Eagles side.
Well, you've seen this fellow before, Mark. He just looks different. He's a former Double Blue player. and he's found a home with the Eagles as Pavlich marks the ball at half forward, goes long, a penetrating kick, what good vision, and underneath it Dillon is unsettled. Play on, said the umpire. Well, let's hope they're consistent.
No, that is a terrible decision, I'm telling you right now. Dillon's had his eyes on the football. Pachura's just come through, nothing. Did not even look at the football and pushed him over. That is a terrible decision, I'm sorry.
As the ball comes back into play, Pavlich from behind thumps the ball to ground. Pachura tries to crash through his claim. Now it's Tommy Waltham, heads for the safety of the boundary line. Running wide out there is Richter, forcing the ball forward. Now it's Irvin towards the wing. White, two hands, couldn't complete it, but Biglands was up to the task. Second grab for him didn't come his way. Weatherall taken high as he went down. He ducked, said the players, but the umpire paid the free. Now Irvin streaks away, play on the advantage. Oh, what do you reckon?
Well, he blew the whistle, the umpire, once too many, I think, Tim.
Yeah. There was whistles going everywhere. Give me one.
It's got to go back now.
It's got to go right back to Weatherall.
No, he said he was tackled too high, so there was a second free kick. That was the ruling on that one.
Oh, come on.
And the free kick was Irvin's.
Well, the Eagles fans got one back here. Looks like Andrew Rogers comes up with the free kick to the applause of the crowd. He sees a player inboard. Biglands should have taken that. It was laced out to him. He has time to be able to get to his feet and punches the ball towards the centre. The Eagles have started well, picking the ball up there. Looks like Squire onto his left leg, comes around, looking up towards White again. He'll be taken on by Fruin. Rogers, Mr. Consistency, comes through, knocks the ball forward. Coming out with Chicolella, couldn't quite get it. He's in there again. Eagles working overtime to get the ball out. Shirley comes up with it, chips towards centre half forward. Pushed under the ball there by Pachura. The umpire will come in and ball up.
I don't know, Tim, we've seen such a frantic start to a game this year.
Well, I tell you what, I reckon the Eagles just want to take on the Sturt side for their strength, because you see the Sturt side are a strong side. They can brush tackles off, but the Eagles are going to try and really be up to the task here and get a good start to the game. That's what they want. They had a missed opportunity earlier with Pavlich, but they really are attacking the 50-50 contest well. Both sides are tackling well, so makes for a good contest.
Waltham thumps the ball to ground. Stolen away by Pearce. Waltham again releases the handball. Robinson, one step and blasts the ball forward towards centre forward. White got it on the volley. Was clever work by Woosman just to paddle it back. Flicking it forward, Toby Kennett into space, but Pearce is over the top of it. Stays over it beautifully, held his line, and Richter dives on top of the ball and forces a bounce.
Well, he did well then, Pearce, because he didn't take the first take, which would have got him away out of trouble, but he did the courageous thing, got back over the top of the footy and didn't let Sturt run away with it in their forward 50.
Inside 50 for the double blues. The ball be bounced. It will favour Biglands. He knocks it back looking for Colville. He couldn't take it. In there is Weatherall. Throws the ball onto his boot. Eagles defence just forcing the area. The bottom of the pack there was Floriani. Couldn't get his hands on the ball. Up comes Kennett with the football. Kicks it high. Richter sits underneath. A good spoil from behind by Pearce. Chance again for the double blues to go forward. In there was Twitt. Couldn't get his hands on the ball. A little pat on the head there. Received by Darzanos.
You could say
Spiro
anyway.
Darzanos.
Why would you let pronunciation trouble you now after all these years? Comments Mark Nayley, former South Adelaide, South Australian Rover and Carlton Premiership player as Biglands. Thumps the ball down. Pearce concedes the back door. Striking away is the skipper in Rogers. Looks for a target. Gets one in the final analysis. It's Cicolella running free in the midfield. Well, the kick didn't do much for Pavlich, but he kept the ball in front of him and showed good maturity. Robertson tries to release it. Great work, desperate work by Geddes. Forces the ball into the area. Maloney quickly out. Holland, big fly, couldn't complete. And what a frenetic pace it is as Waltham goes to ground. Irvin charges at it, and here comes Holland again.
Well, they've been into it, haven't they? Both sides are really crashing in. They're tackling well, and it's not allowing anybody to get an easy kick. So it's good pressure football at the moment.
Ball's knocked forward, comes towards Squire. Squire around his body, chips it up towards White again. Fruin's in there, sockers the ball in midair. Colville ends up with it, comes back to 51. That's Chicorella. Couldn't quite control his kick. Look up again. Good work there by Kennett to bring the ball to ground. He'll be over the top of it, puts his head down, receives the free kick.
Well, I love it when umpires do pay the guy that attacks the football. And when they pay the one that sweats off, that annoys me, but that was definitely a good decision.
The Premier goes up towards Burton. Burton under a fair bit of pressure. The umpires pay the advantage. No, he'll bring it back. Burton's in there. Just pushing and a bit of shoving there.
And by Greg Inge.
Bit high, 25 metres.
Settles it down.
Oh.
Well, SANFL did well.
Yeah, he did the right thing then, and I know that SANFL can go. He went in the boxing tents recently and went all right, so...
Have a nightclub?
Oh,
Knocked them all over.
I wouldn't argue with him.
I don't think I would either. Holland in the midfield, inside the 50. Spears at forward. McGregor was the target. Threadgold. Well, McGregor's going to know he's played a game today, isn't he? Number 12 is Nathan Young. Around the corner, it's a high ball. 2-on-1 contest. Over the top, Patura on Dillon. Forced the ball towards the line. We are 10.5 minutes into the first quarter. In other matches around town this afternoon, Central, 8 points lead. Port Adelaide, 1 point. And West Adelaide out at Lamoureux are 2 goals clear of Glenelg.
Ball's thrown in. Chance for the double blues to defend. They've got it out. Richter with a foot race. One of the oldest players on the field this afternoon. He and Andrew Rogers, a couple of experienced campaigners. White can see that he needs to get to the contest. Comes in and wants to take the body, not the ball. Should have been the free kick. The umpires missed another one for the Eagles. Good work in tight there by the double blues. Ends up with White. He's inside 50. Colville's on his hammer. He puts it up towards the goal square. And the ball's been touched. Hits the post, the umpire indicates.
Well, we'll come back to the half-back flank here. That was a free kick for minded Robert Shirley. I think he missed out on that. He got a whack right in the nose when he committed himself to the football. And that's the sort of thing that does disappoint me. Please reward those guys that put their head over the footy.
Stephen Hall forces it out to Colville. Twit was underneath it, couldn't complete the grab. Colville sold the dummy and headed to the line. There was no other option.
I'll tell you what though, David, it is very, very tight. Neither side is giving each other an easy kick, and I like it. I reckon it's like good final start to the game, and the Eagles are fired up to say that we are a good side.
Well, if ever there's going to be a test for the Eagles, it's today. Streaking away Darzanos. I like the way he goes. He's small, but he's quick, and he takes them on. Took on 2, ran through lines, gives it off to Sicolella. The handball was poor in the finish, and Jason James goes to ground. Powell comes up with the cherry and blasts it towards half forward. They're not giving their forwards much chance, the double blues. They're just blasting it in. Twit, 1 step around the corner, delivers it forward, push and shove in the goal square. Here comes Burton over the top of it. Hall kept his footing, and it's a 3-on-1 contest in the square. Burton picks it up, pops it through, and gets his first. 20 goals for the year to Julian Burton.
Well, he's got the goal in the end, David, but I think the Eagles can count themselves unlucky once again. I think Alistair McEwen just pushed his opponent dead in the middle of the back. There it is on video. Well, I wouldn't be very happy. Mark Mickett at the moment's probably got 3 bad decisions against him, and in the end it's given Sturt a goal. So well done to Julian Burton. No, you've got to play to the whistle, get hold of the ball, put it through, son. That's all you can do.
As we lose Mark Nayley, 25 coming out with the ball is Holland. Sicolella inside 50, straightens up, steadies and goes towards goal. He's off to the left. He's missed. It's a point.
Well, too many missed opportunities at the moment, David. The Eagles have got to take those and get goals out of them. Because if they let the Blues get too far ahead, they really are a good side. But they're having a real go. You can't doubt their commitment at the moment.
Threadgold brings the ball back in. It's a good kick up towards Maloney. Maloney couldn't take hold of the football. Coming through was James. He's still got hold of the football, throws it out this time. Blues have numbers around the football. Irvin comes up with it, looks up forward towards Burton. Burton in the back of the pack will go with Hall. Burton sits over the top of it, coming across, looked like Woosnam. He's tackled heavy, and it's paid against him. He's not happy. Woosnam and Colville, great tackling.
It was probably over the line by then. That's why Woosnam stopped, I think. So, a bit unlucky.
Colville goes long. Rogers couldn't complete it. Squire on the left boot, eases it around the corner in the direction of White. Fruin dumped the ball to ground for the Eagles. Good slick work deep in defence, and Colville is released to run and force it into space in the final analysis. Waltham's back there, 1-on-1 with Darzanos. It's David and Goliath, and neither one.
Good call there, though. Adams Pearce hands then. He was right under the hammer, and he just slipped out a good little handball to get it up to the wing position. But the Eagles are persisting, and they're probably kicking into a slight breeze, if anything. We'll check with Michael Parsons soon.
Walton gets his hands on the ball, gets it down towards Squire, ducked his head, tried to get through the pack. The umpire just holding it up, will bounce it again. Waltham up again early. This time Bicken's got his hands on the football. Good work again there by Squire.
Can we check with Michael what the breeze is doing down there, Mark? Are you down there, Michael Parsons?
I'm down here, mate, and there's not a lot of breeze to talk about. Actually, it's a fantastic day for football. We saw 29 goals kicked in the reserves game, and with these conditions, once these guys set themselves out and their skills fall into place like this little guy, I'm sure we'll see lots of goals kicked at both ends today.
Darzanos, the speedster, goes forward. McGregor threw that one out, play on, said the umpire. Robertson to Powell was good play. Now the Eagles just need to mount something and chip away as Pearce, short and beautifully played, Spiro Darzanos. Well, he's finding plenty of the ball, but he just ran in the wrong direction generally. Young caught it and bang, down goes Darzanos. He's caught with the ball but didn't have the opportunity, says the umpire, of getting rid of it.
Well, that was a good decision, but Darzanos just takes the wrong option, too slow to get rid of it on occasions. He's got the pace, but you've also got to have the disposal quickness about you. First movement.
Chance again for Darzanos. Didn't go for this time. Chicaella gives it across to Rogers. Rogers puts the ball up high, looking for a marking forward. In there was Dillon, couldn't take it. Comes down. This is Robinson, chips the ball out, looking again for Kennett. Goes over the top of Kennett. Eagles have the numbers. Kennett sockers the ball up towards forward. It may go out of bounds on the full. I think it has. And the umpire just wants to confer with the other boundary umpire just whose kick it is. It is the Eagles' kick.
Bit of mucking around there. David, not a lot of Floriani, is there? He's not a big built fella, is he?
Neither was his dad,
No.
Aldo Floriani, but I can tell you,
Good
they
football.
package them tough as Bigland goes toward Pavlich. Squire at half-back, he's playing corridor football. He's doing the job for the Double Blues. Worsden, who was quiet last week, releases Twit on the fly. 48 and closing, he goes towards goal.
Good goal.
And bang! Wouldn't you love to see him kick that goal in the grand final last year when they needed it? He kicked 3 points in a row, but he made sure he nailed that one.
Yes, I hope you weren't referring to me then, David, when you said that. But look, Jarrett Twit, I was just admiring some of his crumbing work earlier in the day. He really is a good front and centre man, but look at the beautiful hands there by Woosnam. Great stuff in the pack, picked it up, slipped it out, a great handball. Running through the corridor, Twit, he's a good player, and now he's starting to finish his work off.
Double Blues just extend their lead. They now 2 goals, 1-13. The Eagles just the 2 sultry points. Ball be put down again, middle of the ground. Lennon's moved into the middle with Richter and also Matthew Powell. A couple of backmen and an experienced wingman in the middle of the ground for the Double Blues. Ball comes up. Dillon should have taken that. Quick chip forward. It's a chance here for the Eagles to mount something. Kingsley, wearing jumper number 18, normally in 21, puts it up high, looking for Pavlik. McGregor over the back, couldn't take it. Double Blues quite happy just to sit on top.
Well, it's another opportunity for the Eagles here. They have to convert a goal. They need one now. Sturt just a 2-goal lead at the moment. They need to get a goal here.
Pavlich, Cicolella around the corner, turns and snaps, and they're offline again, the Eagles. That one's another point. So they've had their opportunities. You've got to suggest, Tim, that they've had the ball more times in their forward 50 but haven't converted.
Yeah, we might have to check the stat on that. I think you're probably right there, David. But look, there's another opportunity gone begging. And basically, if they don't take those opportunities early, they may just peter out and eventually just run out of steam.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yes, Mark Nayley pointed out before, I said Stephen White could have been one of the dominant players in the league this year, and he let me down last week. Been keeping a close eye. He's jumped at the ball a couple of times today, and he hasn't really wanted it. We'll have a look at him this time, and again, this time it gets a hand to the ball, but it doesn't take the mark.
Bruins taken high, will receive the free kick here. The umpire was on the spot in this occasion. Going to play short if he wants to use him in Holland. He goes in that direction. Wearing the long sleeve jumper this afternoon. Getting to him was Urban. Just put him off enough, but the kick was good. And he finds Dillon. Dillon just outside 50. Fairly tight angle. And you can see in the background, a good healthy crowd here this afternoon would be in the vicinity of 5,000 to 6,000 people. So great for SANFL football. Good kick up forward. At the back, the big fly was young, couldn't take it. Up a little bit early and marking the ball, number 23 in Waltham.
It was a good grab by Waltham, and in your ruckman and you're in the back play, you've got to take those grabs, and he did it beautifully.
Getty, slick work to Weatherall, but it did come off his boot. It did, said the boundary umpire. So the Eagle players were quick to point it out. And Spiro Darzanos, who's finding plenty of the ball, 20 minutes into the first term.
David, just at the top of the 10-yard square, it is very crowded at the moment. The Eagles got to get people out of there.
Pavlich, big fly. Waltham, the spoil from behind. Geddes, the ball falls into his arm, but he's wrapped up and that ball's going nowhere.
Yeah, it's very hard to see the shot we've got on camera at the moment, but it is very crowded at the top of that square. And when people are looking for leads and space to move into, there's none there at the moment.
20.5 minutes played. Biglands, who's been pretty strong for the Eagles so far. Sikalella got the boot to ball. He made something out of nothing in the final analysis and gets a point.
Well, under pressure again. I mean, the Sturt defence is holding up very well here. Weatherall's, his work rate, both ends of the ground, is outstanding for a rover. And it's something that good rovers should do. Both ends of the ground, Mark Nayley.
Yes, so true. Irvin takes it. Half-back flank. He slows up proceedings. Now he booms the ball down that big left leg of his. White goes to the spoil, then takes the ball in mid-air. Gives it off to Power. Power around his body, left leg also. Looking for Woosman. Good spoil from behind by Rogers. The Eagles again will go forward. It's a high ball. Going back hard. Great courage there shown. Comes down to Irvin. Irvin takes it, left leg again. Dumps up again, looking for Woosnam. The experienced Rogers takes it. The ball's knocked out there by Squire. And 13 there, and Pearce heads for the boundary line. Two other games being played around the state this afternoon. Locally, we see Central's up against Port Elizabeth. The score there is even. And our country game at Lamoureux, we see West 19. Glenelg got off the mark now, they're 12.
Waltham over the top. Robinson almost run down by Jason James. Still gets the kick away. White two-handed attempt but couldn't complete it. Rogers, Floriani and the Eagles now. It's their turn to run from defence. Crashing through Maloney. Gives it away. Weatherall was good enough. He got away from McGregor. Oh, it was tough in the middle. The umpire's blown the whistle. And we'll bring it back. Cautioning Sikalella. And Weatherall will take the free kick. Oh, Kennett.
Oh, he's there to be hit, he was. He was lucky to get up, Weatherall.
So that's an FAD, free kick downfield, and Kennett from right on 50. He's a powerful kick, fancies his chances. A light breeze at his back, and it'll just fall short. Thumped down by Bigland. Sikalella skirting the defensive line. Forces the ball out to the far side where Barker, the former Sturt player, just is stagnant, no option. Decided not to charge off and create something. Was static, and it's all come undone. I don't think Mark Mickham will be happy with that, and Weatherall forward, and that clearly was Barker's fault.
David, I spoke about this last week. When you're in defence, especially late in a game, do not go into the corridor. It is a cardinal sin, and if your kick isn't accurate, as that one wasn't, and it comes off, it is a shot at goal for Sturt now. So it was a very disappointing move by Barker there. Just remember next time, son, down the wing, keep it out, just run it out of bounds and end the quarter. Now Woosnam's got a shot dead in front.
Although it's 9 points down, the Eagles, and a goal here right before quarter time is a very tough position for the Eagles to find themselves, and that's exactly what's happened. Woosnam, after a quiet game against Port Adelaide last week, has come out and opened his account with an early goal.
Well, he started well too. He got into a couple of packs and got a couple of handballs dished out as well, Woosnam, so he is starting well here. But the Eagles wasted some opportunities early up forward with some sloppy work, and unfortunately what that's done, it's cost them, because Sturt have come down here with some clean work and they're getting value for their touches in their 50-metre. You're probably right, David, there's been a lot more 50-metre thrust by the Eagles, but it's the way you do it, and at the moment Sturt are doing it a little better.
19 plays 4. So a 15-point margin to Double Blues. The Eagles have used a lot of energy up this afternoon so far in this game for no rewards. It's still early, still a lot of football to be played. Quick chip kick goes across, finds Filippo. Now manning up now on Ferguson. We saw the first gamer in McEwen come off there when that goal was kicked. Eagles go forward again. Good work. They're young. They're full of enthusiasm. Over the back there was Biglands. Couldn't keep the ball in. Used his body well. Just beaten by the flight of the football.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line.
Yes, Mark Soderstrom's come on for Sturt to play the big guy, the ruckman. Rhett Biglands has got a lot of size on him, and if he pushes himself forward to the play, he's going to be a real target up there for Torrens if they can take advantage of that mismatch in height.
Colville released and lines them up and goes hard and strong. The Eagles have got their first there, 1-4. That was an important one for the Eagles. Colville finished it off. Sturt are 3-1. We're back to a 9-point ball game.
Well, there's some results that they needed, but a lot of hard work done in this first quarter. The Eagles, they really have done well. Rhett Bigland's tap there was outstanding to Colville into a space where there was nobody in front of Colville. He's got hold of it, roved it beautifully and kicked the goal, but really that is reward for the Eagles' hard work. Their commitment, their tackling and their fierceness at the footy has been unquestionable, but just some of their work in finishing off hasn't been that flash. That's his 50th goal, I reckon, in the SANFL competition. Well done.
Back to a 9-point margin. Double Blues, this time through Powell. Sockers the ball up forward, looking there for Squire. Squire's over the top of it. Needs to put his hands on the ball. Coming in hard was Pearce, putting up pressure on. Comes back to Biglands. The big fellow who's quick to move on his feet. Gets the ball out. First there will be Robinson, should take it. Oh, where did the little speedster come from? And Darzanos. He got there before Robinson. Good work, good forward defensive work here by the Eagles. Trying to keep the ball in the area. Coming up was Geddes. Sockers the ball for the boundary line. Ends out. Will be thrown in.
That was a superb tackle by Robinson then. He, like you said, he got beat to the football, but geez, he didn't get beaten the tackle. That was absolutely outstanding, that. And him and Geddes are really good defenders.
Good work. Up forward, good use of the bodies. A chance again. They're followed up through. Coming out with Threadgold. Saw Twit 10-15 metres forward. Just chipped the ball along the ground. As we hear the quarter time siren here, really has been set a great pace. A great atmosphere has been created. And good work by the Double Blues team. We see that they're going in by with a 9-point margin after the first quarter.
Well, what a quarter that was. I thought the Eagles' commitment was excellent at the football. Sturt, I think, just showed a bit of experience and really probably real cool heads in what was a bit of a crisis at one stage as the Eagles were thrusting forward, but not getting the score on the board. You've got to get scoreboard pressure if you're down in your 50-metre so many times early in the game, and the Eagles just couldn't do that. But they got a late goal through a lot of hard work, and what they did was keep them in the contest now. And I think in this quarter with what is, well, not really a breeze of any noteworthy, they can sort of come to this scoring end at the other end of the ground, the northern end, and perhaps put a bit of scoreboard pressure on the Sturt side this quarter.
So full scores to finish the first quarter. See the Eagles, they're 1 goal for 10. They're trailing the Double Blues on 3 goals, 1-19. And you're watching all the action this afternoon, live and exclusive to ABC Sport.
We hope you're enjoying this match in the comfort of your lounge room, live on ABC Football. I think it's been a tough encounter in the first quarter. Well, the Eagles lost a lot of players over the summer. They needed to do some recruiting. We'll have a look at some of their recruits at half-time if you care to stay with us about that time. But one of their recruits was a young fellow from Port Adelaide, Jason Dillon. He played 89 reserves games, kicked 201 reserves goals for Port Adelaide. He came to the Eagles and has restarted his career.
118. All the way, I think,
Ooh, dangerous. Coach would not want to hear that.
Huh?
Coach doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Friendlier, more social. Football club.
That's right, you got to win.
Go enjoy heaven.
Yeah.
He's a good kid, isn't he?
Huh?
89 reserves games,
Oh, he's
201
got
reserves
talent.
goals.
He's got talent.
Well, he's come as a seasoned footballer, hasn't he?
Just a bit. I can
Luffy.
He was in the state squad 3 years ago.
He was a Powers rookie list first year.
Yeah.
He's got everything. Just fucking loopy at times.
The Eagles go all right with Loopy.
Hopefully.
They do. In fact, the loopier the better.
I don't mind him as a lad.
Interesting young fella. Now, you would have played a bit with him,
I did with
Tim.
Jason, yeah. He's got everything. Look, his hands are excellent. His vertical leap, where you just stand and they test you, he was the best at Port Adelaide when he was there as well. So he's got just about everything it is for a footballer. He's just got to settle down. He's probably hit the age now where he can mature a bit and he can really kick on with his football. All the best with it anyway, Jace.
Is he an AFL footballer?
Well, he was on the AFL rookie list, I think, for the Powers
he
first
was.
squad. So he's definitely got the capabilities, perhaps. And if he puts a couple of good seasons in here, you never know.
As we come back to this match between the Eagles and Sturt, I thought the Eagles, Tim, in the first quarter got the early jump, but didn't get it on the scoreboard. But I thought when Julian Burton put through the Double Blues' first goal, they looked like they were travelling a little better.
Well, I thought Sturt did a lot of hard work to get this goal. A lot of that hard work was a push in the back, but Julian Burton just kept playing to the whistle, got the crumb and kicked it through, and he's just kicking a lot of goals this year, Julian Burton, making something out of nothing, and that was one of them there. Well done, Julian Burton, good work, and just keep the good stuff up.
We also talked about Jared Twitt. We talked about the 3 misses in last year's grand final. They were important kicks, and I think had he kicked the last of his 3 points in the grand final, Sturt would have been 27 points ahead in the grand final, and tough to beat at that stage.
Makes a difference.
But today, when he gathered the ball outside 50, he receives the handball, takes off, and
was
you just
beautiful hands.
Just see him steady, where he just takes that extra step and finished it off beautifully.
That's a little bit of maturity. It's experience, and if you can't learn by your mistakes, then you're never going to go anywhere. And Jared Twitt has obviously learned by his mistakes. He got the ball. If you watch Craig Bradley, this is a great example for young people. He sprints away, then he just relaxes on the moment he's going to kick the ball, and he's a beautiful kick of the footy. So use your pace and then settle down and kick the ball.
Now, the Eagles kicked a lot of points, 1 goal for that quarter, but I think if they'd have kicked 3 of those points, they're under a lot of pressure. But as they went towards goals, they just kept scoring points.
Look, it's the way you use the ball in the forward 50, and I thought it was a little bit crowded at times. They were a bit slow to get the ball on. That was a blatant free kick and could have put the Eagles in front very, very early in the game. Now, Pachura hasn't looked at the football, and he's just gone straight through Dillon, which is, I think, just a bad decision. And really, Mark Micken could count himself a little bit unlucky that they weren't in front earlier in the game.
You were unhappy with a couple of umpiring decisions?
Yeah, well, I thought umpiring last Monday was absolutely exceptional, so there's no dramas about that, and if they're consistent, it's good. But just today, I think they've missed a couple like that one that perhaps they can just improve in the next couple of quarters.
OK, quarter time, the Double Blues lead by 9 points. They're 3-1. The Eagles are 1-4.
Yeah, well, it's a 9-point lead. Like I said, the Eagles' late goal there has really just kept them in touch with the game now. So Colville got that goal, beautiful tap by Biglands to him. And for Sturt, there's one extra, Wisdom, Burton and Twitt, and we saw most of those on the tally. Wisdom's one came from a mistake, which was a kick inboard late in the quarter, so they wouldn't have been happy with that.
Mark Nailey's been studying the match stats. The Eagles have more effective kicks, but less handballs.
Yes, we just see there, David, the kicks are favouring the Eagles. The handballs favouring the Double Blues. They're sharing it a fair bit out there. Marks, well, the Eagles are on top, which does surprise me, considering the Double Blues are fairly tall around the ground from the back line right through to the forward line. Fees are favouring the Eagles as well. Hit-outs favouring Big Red Briglands, and the centre square breaks are favouring the Eagles as well. So it does surprise me with those stats that the Double Blues are up.
And in the other matches being played this afternoon, it's Central and Port Elizabeth. It's dead level at quarter time in the match at Elizabeth Oval. And at Lamoureux, West Adelaide lead Glenelg by 12 points at quarter time.
Who knows what sort of conditions are at Lamoureux today, David. Hard to call whether there's any breeze or not.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line.
Yes, fellas, just as the game's about to get underway, but Mark Micken, he's got a good game plan. He knows what these guys have got to do. You'll see Biglands go back and jump against White at centre-half back. White is critical. His form's down a little bit, and they want to rub him in it. Looking for persistence. He was happy with the number of 50 entries that they got, just looking to keep the pressure on in the run. Phil Carman, reasonably happy with the defence, or very happy with their defence. Again, had a chat to Stephen White, wants him to focus on the footy and jump at the ball, and he thinks that if they can continue to keep the pressure on, run the ball out, then the Torrens short game may fall apart.
Thanks, Michael, for that.
As the game goes.
Thank you, Michael, for that. Stay with us as we start the second quarter from Woodville Oval. Your commentator is Mark Nailey.
Thank you, David. 9-point margin favouring the Double Blues. Floriani comes out with taken by Wisdom in a tackle.
Well, Mark,
it doesn't look like these guys are going to ease up in this quarter
It
either.
doesn't look like the way they've started there. Woosnam just receiving a little bit of confidence booster there for Woosnam, just having Richter just patting him on the head, letting him know there was a good tackle. Coming out hard now. Good work going forward for the Eagles. Goes up high. Out there was Pavlik. Couldn't take the ball in the air. Hit the ground fairly hard as Big Pavlik. Slow to get up. The ball chips out. Will go out over the line. Will be thrown in on the outer flank.
Well, the Eagles would like to get an early goal. If they can do that, that'd steady them up. Have them right back in this contest.
23, Walton just takes the ball uncontested, gets it down to Squire. Squire on his left boot goes up towards White. As we see there, the big mark by Red Bigland's over the top. Climbed on the back of White and pulled down a sensational mark.
Well, he's got to be happy with that. That's a great grab. Well done, big fella.
We've seen a couple of great grabs so far this year as Pavlich goes forward. The umpire said it's a mark deep in defence. Geddes releases it now to Patura, Robinson, Rogers for the Eagles. The Eagles skipper goes forward. It's a mark. McGregor's got it. It's not. It's Young. So Young has the ball.
I think, David, you'll see McGregor's got a nice new haircut, mate. It's a nice short one.
Yes, it is. Not copping out, mate, but I've actually got a cameraman. And all I'm doing is looking at his jeans. Just by way of explanation, if you'll just forgive me. As Young, well, he sprayed that off to the right. Not sure that he stayed over that, Tim. He just looked to come off the kick. And that was an important one for the Eagles.
Didn't quite get up on his toes, did he, when he was coming in for that goal? Just eased back on the heels there and sprayed it off to the right. And that's another lost opportunity, the Eagles. Early goals, very important.
It's ready to bring the ball back in. Just waits. Looking for a bit of movement. He's got Patura loose if he wants to direct in that direction. He does, and he goes for Maloney. Maloney couldn't take the ball 3 deep. Pierce is in there, tucks the ball under his right arm, but tackled there by Richter.
Well, Mark, I reckon Pierce has been outstanding today.
Oh, he has. He's been
Great
very
first
good.
quarter.
Had 8 possessions that first quarter, 5 kicks and 3 mark. The most possession winner was Ciccarella with 10 possessions. For Sturt, Powell had 9 possessions, Robertson 8 and Urban 7.
Tarzanos gang tackled, Weatherall got him. I think he went to grab his hair, there was nothing there, Tim.
Well, I'm quite surprised. Timmy Weatherall this year really has, I suppose he feels like he's matured as a player, and he's now going to take it up to a few blokes.
And a bit of blood. The umpire said, you're off with the blood. Well, he said, you got to be kidding, it's a pimple head. It's not mine. And he says, you're off. So Timmy Weatherall heads to the blood bin.
Just come over, wipe it off and get straight back on.
Nothing in that as play recommences. Almost 4 minutes in. Damien Raiders coming on for the Double Blues. Oh, big tackle. And the umpire said fair enough. Squire got clobbered, didn't he? And Jason James got him.
Well, you saw there, his first movement, there was an opportunity to handle, so you've been wrapped up, you're gone.
Down on the boundary, Michael Parsons.
Yeah, Timmy Weatherall's got a shaving injury.
A little bit close this morning in the mirror.
I'm going to put some Norman Gunston tissues on there, I reckon.
It is a little nick. Now that's going overboard.
Now, fellas, what's the blood rule there for? Yeah, let's not make light of it. Blood's blood.
Yeah, blood is blood. You're right. There's rules.
You're right.
Must be adhered to.
Well, as a pause, fella, Soderstrom's going to come back on for Waltham. Another interesting call by Phil Carman. He really likes Soderstrom running the ruck these days.
Tim, you're recently out of the game. What's the players' approach to the blood rule? Obviously, it is an inconvenience to them.
It is annoying. There's no doubt about that. I can remember in the 96 grand final, I had to come off other people's blood on my elbow, which was nothing to do with me, of course. But it is a bit annoying. You think, oh, but rules are rules, and like Mark said, I mean, blood's blood, and so we've got to adhere to it in the way things are today, and with hepatitis and all those sorts of things, you've got to get straight off.
Ball's put down inside 50 for the Eagles. On the back play there was Powell. He takes it, gives it back. 28 is the premier in Kennett. Every state should have one. The ball goes up, looking for White. He's this chance White. He couldn't take it. The ball's chipped forward by Fruin. Twits in there, number 13 for the Double Blues. We can see Mark Solomson coming on. The big number 12, replacing Waltham, who comes off that arrest. A good chance to see White will contest this ruck duel with Biglands. Well done by White. He takes it out of the air, looked for the handball to Power, couldn't quite find his target. Goes up towards centre half forward. The new player coming on there for Weatherall and Damien Raiders will receive the free kick for a high tackle.
Yeah, technically that was correct, so he's earned the free kick, but I'm impressed with Fruin at centre half back for the Eagles so far.
He's done a good job on White, no question about that. Tim, you might just tell us, last week, the Port Adelaide side, through Brian Lee, shut down White, and there was a lot of chatter and a lot of nipping of fingers and bottoms. Watch Brian Lees' go. Have you caught up on that?
Bottoms?
Well, Brian Lees was just pinching him on the bum all day.
Who told you that?
Well, I just know.
Where do you hang out to find out information like that?
No, that's not.
Tell me that.
He's making it up.
All right.
Where do you
I
hang
should
out?
not have opened that can of worms. I can just close that one off if I can. But there you go.
I've heard everything.
Big
players
Floriani.
pitching bottoms.
Well, he did. And dropping back underneath that one, Mark Futura for the Double Blues. I'm sorry I even opened that one. Futura on the defensive 50. A long bomb. He's a penetrating kick and generally uses it to effect this time. Well done, young man. Brent Fruin is just shutting Stephen White out of the game completely. 2 weeks in a row, there's a shutout.
Well, last week we saw Brian Lees do a good job, plus they had time to get the ruckman back there, so it was a 2-on-1 type play, but Fruin's been on him all day 1-on-1, and he's, at this stage, well in front.
Elects to go short over the top. Barker just talked in Robert Shirley, and Shirley marks a long one towards half forward. Toby Kennett marks in front of Andrew Rogers.
We had 3/4 of the players on the ground inside the Eagles' 50-metre arc. It is very crowded. The Eagles have to try and keep up the ground.
Wide again. Brixton comes across the front. In there is Rogers, taken high there by Lennon. The umpires missed it. The Double Blues have a chance here now through Squire. Squire throws it on his boot. It wasn't a very, very good kick. Couldn't find his target up there, and Burton. Good work by Hall, just realising the ball was going to fall short. Takes it now and goes out wide. Irvin will be taken on here. Couldn't quite get there. Barker comes across. Handball's over the top. The Eagles will chip it forward now and find Floriani. Floriani's hit fairly hard there, but gets to his feet, gets the handball on. The Eagles go up towards centre half forward. The mark taken by Pavlik on the 50-metre line. Good chance here just to see what this kid's made of.
Geez, I like the look of him. Great hands.
Oh, it's come off. I just thought Kennett might have got to that. Didn't put his hands up. The mark was taken by Chickarella. He goes very deep into the pocket. Maybe not the right direction to be playing Woodville Oval.
Well, that lead was basically sideways. From the full forward square, it was basically sideways out to the pocket. And it's because it's very crowded in the corridor for the Eagles at the moment. They've got to try and keep that open.
Those leads have got to be ignored. Pavlich took front position. Robinson took the ball out of ruck. Couldn't get away the handball. And we'll have another bounce.
I still remember, Scotty Hodges, when you play with him, he demanded his space.
Yep.
And, a number of times you would have seen Scotty, you come out, mark the ball 45, 40 metres directly out in front and go back and kick the goal. Now, whoever's playing full forward up there, whether it's Pavlik or McGregor, just needs to demand their space. They're not getting it at the moment.
Players go at it again. Powell into space. Lennon, who's been quiet today. Short. Releases Soderstrom. Forced on the non-preferred boot. It wasn't a bad kick in the final analysis. He forced it out in front of Irvin, who just needed to take it and handball over the top. Woosden had dropped back. Colville gathers it in. Gang tackle. 2-on-1. Good work, Colville.
Excellent work here. There was a situation, the kick was just a little long for Irvin. Colville had to take the chance, run off his man and meet the football, and he did it very, very well and held the ball in the area.
8-point margin. We've played 10 minutes into the second quarter. Colville will take this ball, just toe kicks it up. Hope it sits right. It does this time. So Colville on the outer wing, tips up towards the half-forward flank. The ball comes to the ground. The double blues defence holding strong there. Through, looked like Patura coming out hard.
I think it was
Kicked the ball,
Soderstrom,
Soderstrom, I think, on the half-back flank there. Kicked it out of bounds on the fall. So a couple of mistakes there by Mark Soderstrom since coming back on.
Cicolella towards centre half forward. McGregor too deep behind Robertson. That's difficult to do. Pavlich claimed by Threadgold. Now it ricochets down, crashing through Robertson. Desperate play on the left boot. Just gets the boot to ball and did it pretty well on the finish. Twit over the top will allow Irvin to release Lennon, who's running through the middle. They're playing it straight down the centre and doing a good job of it. Well done, Rogers. Punches the ball away from Worsden. Worsden's over the top of it. Rogers wraps him up. And the umpire says, fellas, I'll come in and ball it up.
The umpire, Tim Slavin there, probably made the right decision. It was a good contest by those two. It'll be a good clash too, I think, Rogers and Woosnam.
Tim Slavin, of course, the son of former Eagle champion Jimmy Slavin. Great wingman for the Eagles is Filippo. Blast the ball into space. He did it pretty well in the final wash because jumping underneath it, Cicolella.
He's finding plenty of it.
They're just going a little slow now to Pavlich, who's finding plenty of space. Colville, a long bomb. Out comes McGregor. Thumping it down was Geddes, and now Nathan Young just gets it outside 50. Needs support, has none. Finally got the handball away. Oh, what's that, said the umpire? It's a free kick.
Holding the ball the first one, David, I think.
Quite right.
Yeah, good decision in the end. He had a chance to get rid of it, and that was a great tackle. But the Eagles, for the first time, moved the ball quickly into the forward line, and they actually got it into the corridor. Unfortunately, the kick was a little high and did give the forwards a great opportunity, but a much better movement by the Eagles.
Wide again with two players, as we saw last week. But it gives the contest. I think that's all Coach Phil Cummin needs this afternoon. Twit couldn't keep his feet. Goes to the ground. Should come over the top. It does. There's a blind handball across to Floriani. Floriani through the middle of the ground. Puts the ball up. I think it's Young coming out hard. Takes a good mark overhead. Or it's McGregor. I think it might be McGregor this time. It's Kingsley, matter of fact. Wade Kingsley. Playing his 5th game for the club at senior level.
Looks like he's going to have a shot now, settled down, but some beautiful work there by Holland. Holland got the ball over the top to Floriani, who hit Kingsley on the lead. Much better movement by the Eagles and not allowing that back area to get crowded. It was excellent.
We've got number 18. It's not in the program this afternoon, so I'm not quite sure whether it's Kingsley or could be McGregor. We'll find that out for you. Somehow it's got through our safety net.
Yeah, that's McGregor.
Looks like McGregor from here. We normally see Brodie Atkinson in the grandstand. Sean Tasker sitting behind. Oh, and the Eagles crowd won't be happy with that. They saw the same thing in the first quarter up against Jason Dillon. Didn't receive the free kick. This time, Colville does the same to Bruce Lennon, and the free kick has been given. That's Powell.
Fruin again.
Taken by Fruin, yeah. He's doing well. He's doing the job on White this afternoon. Even in the one-on-one contest, he's still coming out on top.
Pushes it back towards centre half forward. Big fly. Spiro Dozanis couldn't get through, but Colville picks it up, releases the handball over the top. 5 is Dillon. Around the corner, Timmy Geneva reckons he can go a bit, this young kid. He did the right thing then, put it in the square. Young releases the ball around the corner. Big snap was James, and he's got it. He's kicked it for the Eagles. A very important one, 14 minutes into the second quarter.
Well, they needed that. They needed to get the first goal, the Eagles, because they have been working very hard. And if you don't get the rewards on the scoreboard when you do the hard work, sometimes everything falls out from underneath you. But just at half forward, I was a bit worried. Rep Biglan's crashed into Pavlik, and I thought the guys' youthful exuberance there, just crashing into one another. But some good work by Dillon to get it to the top of the square, and then a great snap by James. So the Eagles away now, only a point behind Sturt.
This is a great contest. You see a 1-point ball game favouring the double blues still. High kick there by Weatherall. Woosnam trying to push Rogers under the football, couldn't quite get there. Coming up with the football is Squire. Can see a good lead there by Ferguson, and 25 metres the umpire will indicate here. He was pushed. What will the umpire do? Oh, he's just bringing him back. The push was on by Floriani, or Filippo.
Filippo, yeah, it was a bit late too, wasn't it?
Very late.
Actually, think back, Filippo, Floriani and Pavlich.
Yeah.
All big Eagles names in the 70s and 80s.
Must have been a good night.
don't do that.
Well, a good day, they said. We see Ferguson comes in. Former Amateur Football League winning goal kicker. The chip kick forward just to put it over the line was number 9 and Floriani in this case, and brings up a rush behind. So a 2-point margin now to the Double Blues. They lead 3-2 over the Eagles, 2-6.
Some good work there. Squire is a very good footballer. He really is. He's got a lot of balance, a lot of poise.
Another match is being played this afternoon. Central and Port level it up at Elizabeth. Oh, Ferguson's got a goal if you don't mind. What about that? What a complete shambles by the Eagles' defence. And Ferguson grubbers one off the ground and gets his first. That was a critical goal for the Double Blues.
I'd like to see this again, Dave, because I thought it actually come off his knee.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
It's a bad piece of work here by the Eagles' defence. They really... That's come off his knee.
Shin. That's
Shin,
right,
and it's a goal.
Is it?
Yep.
Shin, and it's a goal.
All right.
Oh,
I'll go with you, boys.
There.
I've got to tell you, I won't be giving Double Blues any easy goals.
But look, in the end, bad work. Don't muck around with it in your back 50. Just rush it through and start again.
The Double Blues reply. They move to 26. They lead the Eagles 18.
They're a mature side these days, Sturt, aren't they? They really can steady up at times and actually swap momentum, which is a good sign of a good side.
As we go down to the boundary line of Michael Parsons.
Phil Carman just restructuring his forward line. Neither key forward have had a lot of the ball. Julian Burton has come out to play at centre half, and Stephen White has gone down to the goal face at full forward.
Coming around as Lennon chips it up high. The fly will be by Wilson, but the back was, looks like Hall.
Fruin.
It's Fruin, in fact. Having a good afternoon. That's 5 marks so far this afternoon. Young Fruin. Ball's kicked up forward. James couldn't take it. The ball's been thumped out over the boundary line. So good work by the Double Blues defence.
Yeah, James just didn't meet that ball. Then he allowed Maloney to meet the ball first, and he just punched it over the line.
Biglands and Soderstrom. Soderstrom thumps it down. Barker gathers it in. But Maloney wraps him up and ensures an umpire, Slavin, gets to do a little more work. We are 18 minutes into the second quarter at Woodville Oval. Biglands thumps it down the back. Here comes Barker under pressure from Weatherall. Handballs to the line, and the ball will come back into play.
Well, the Eagles start to, probably through Rhett Biglands being the advantage in ruck, need to just work it away from some of these contests.
Biglands again, thumps it forward. Holland claimed, still got away the handball. Biglands had an airy. Weatherall got out the handball, and Squire goes after it. He's a real terrier, this kid. Over the top of the ball, coming hard was Adam Pearce. He never gives up, and yes, even at the ground, you get to have a good close look at it. Like I said, of those binoculars, Tim.
I thought she was calling a race. She had the race caller binoculars out there, but she'll know what's going on.
8-point margin. Chickella kicks the ball up. Dylan couldn't keep it in. And supporters come in all ages, all shapes and sizes. But they love their local football. Wrigglins tries to knock the ball out of air. Couldn't quite get there. Weatherall comes up with it. Pearce is also there. He gives the handball to Richter, the opposition. Richter kicks it up. Burton uses his strength. Good work by Hall from behind. Double Blue through Twit. He'll be too quick. He's too close to the ground for Hall. Kicks the ball up high. White's there. Good work by Fruin. Body on body. Fruin comes out on top once again.
Well, I know a few AFL clubs had a look at Jared Twit.
Well, he is on the Crows rookie list.
On the rookie list at the moment, but he really could be a pickup, I think, for somebody next year. He's just starting to mature. And the way he crumbs the ball and his lightning speed.
Well, the Crows, of course, will get first crack at him, as they do. Oh, big fly, Biglands. He is taking off, and maybe we're starting to see him achieve something like his potential. Woosnam went over the top, and Soderstrom at left half forward for the Double Blues lifts the eyes and goes towards Ferguson. Out on the lead in front of Hall. In fact, it was Burton. Gathers it in and goes long towards the goals. Here comes White, front position. Well, he did it well.
Well, that is the first time that White has defeated Fruin in a one-on-one contest, and a good time to do it right at the top of the square. But the work by Bird, Absolutely
Burton took the
outstanding.
mark, got to his feet, got his head around and played on.
And I was
Got
just
the
about
ball
to
in
say,
one-on-one. That's all he wanted.
exactly, and the Eagles have got to take note from that, because that's the way to move the ball into your forward line. That quickness, Burton just did not muck around with worrying about a free kick.
So White, who's been quiet so far in this match, pops it through for his first. That's a confidence booster for him. It was a good mark and a great goal for the Double Blues.
I think you're right, David. I think White will get some confidence from that. I think he's competed much better today, but Fruin has been outstanding on him. But good work by Burton, flat out at the football, took the mark, got up to his feet straight away, whizzed it into the top of the square.
Well, the expression on Fruin's face there, he knew that he was in the right position to spoil, just missed the arms. And White taking the mark and kicking his first goal for the game, and the second for the quarter for the Double Blues. The bounce favours Wiggins. That was last year, I think, but it's Biglan's.
But they've blown the lead out here to 15 points, and I don't think the Eagles will be too happy with that, because they had an opportunity earlier on to hit the lead.
Another bad bounce. Well, this time will favour Biglan's. Couldn't do much with it. McKenna comes up with it. Kicks it high. The chance for Wilson to fly now. Good work by Rogers, just putting enough body on to put him off balance. Fruin comes up with it again, leading White to the football. Eagles will go forward. The mark will be taken. We'll get back. Will be Floriani. So Floriani on the outer wing. Looks up, heads the ball towards centre half forward. The flies will come. 18 was McGregor. Couldn't take it. The ball will be bounced just outside of 50 for the Eagles. And they still trail the Double Blues by 15 points. Solister up against Biglan's again. The Eagles this time have a chance to take it. The kick needs to come across, weaving his way through, a bit of magic there with Chicuella. Kicks it up high now, going back as the big fella in Patura. He couldn't take it. 49 is Pavlik using his size and his strength to try to break away from the Double Blues defence. He couldn't do that. The ball comes to ground and sat upon.
Well, the Eagles 30 metres from goal. An opportunity to get a late goal, and it'd be an important one too to keep in touch.
Well, they were 9 points down at quarter time. They've drifted now to 15 points, and the Eagles need the next goal as we go into half time. We're 23 minutes out. Lennon looks to play on, gets the ball over the top. The runner was Soderstrom, but he lost his balance, still dispatched the handball forward. Kennett caught by Floriani, gets the kick away cleverly, inboard, here comes Patura. Has time for a bounce, but no, he steadies and delivers it long and towards full forward. It's White. The big man's got it, and he's 48 metres out, almost directly in front.
Just got away from Fruin then. Good piece of work by White. This could really do his confidence a world of good, 2 goals in a row.
It's the first time, Tim, I've seen him jump up and out into a ball.
For a few weeks, I think you're right, but that's his game. He's got great hands.
I think when he's doing that, he's very dangerous.
Oh, yes.
Let's see how he finishes it off. He stays over the top of it and drills it. Well, they've gone from 15 points to 21 points and put a little bit of distance between them and the Eagles as they go into half-time.
I said earlier, David, if the Eagles didn't get some reward on the scoreboard from some of their effort, then you really can, the pants can just drop right out of you. And it looks like it's going to happen here, because Sturt have just increased their lead with some, I suppose, smoother work into the forward line, and White has now taken 2 marks and kicked 2 goals, which is very important to Sturt and their forward line structure for him to fire up.
A 21-point margin to the Double Blues. As we heard, they were leading by 9 after the first quarter, and they're now extended it out to 21. It's a good movement here going forward. Finds McGregor. McGregor trips over. The umpire called play on. He has now. Left leg. Wasn't a very good kick. Comes up to Geddes. Geddes couldn't take the mark that he should have taken. It comes to the ground and will be balled up inside 50 for the Eagles. Just not controlling that football was Geddes going to ground. And 2 other games being played around the state this afternoon. At Elizabeth, we see the Centrals 23. They'll trail the Magpies on 42. And at Lamoureux, we see the Glenelg kicking away from the Bloods. They're 55. West Adelaide 31. Powell heads for the boundary line. The 25.5-minute mark of this second quarter.
Been a very good recruit since coming to the club from South Adelaide. Colville handballs the ball forward under pressure from Richter. Oh, Squire was terrific in a double spin. Evaded everybody and gives it off to Irvin on the left boot, who drives it towards half forward. Worsden was caught underneath it, but Rogers measured it beautifully. Couldn't complete the mark, but then loses his footing. Burton goes after it, but the ball was flicked out across the line.
Well, Squire, that was something out of Swan Lake. That was beautiful, wasn't it? 2 pirouettes.
Nureyev.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I would have been a bit Nureyev after I'd spun around twice.
A bit dizzy. Burton, hard at it. Squire flicks the ball out to Richter, who paddles it further afield to Powell, who stays over the top of it. Claimed in the tackle was Whelan going after him. Whelan over the top of the ball, still gets it out. Here comes Sikalella. One quick handball. It was in desperation rather than anything else. Now Colville needs support, gives it away. Play on, said the umpire. Biglands. Whelan was there in support, but didn't use him. McGregor, as the siren sounds, it is 21 points in favour of the Double Blues as we go into the half-time break. And as you said, Tim, the Eagles really needed to convert on the scoreboard and didn't.
Well, they've only got one less scoring shot, yet they trail by 21 points. Mark Micken will be frustrated and probably a little bit annoyed with his players because their effort is there, their commitment's there, there's no doubt about that. But it's just the way they're moving the ball into that forward line, a little slowly and a little clumsily at times. And the Sturt side just showing a lot of maturity, especially in defence. And now that they can move that ball quickly up forward, White's taken a couple of marks and kicked the 2 goals, which has really extended this lead. And I think Phil Carman at half-time would be very pleased with his troops, just for really just, I suppose, setting the game up for what is going to be a good third quarter. And I suppose just in the end of the day, you're going to see Sturt just continue with this style of pattern. And I think they'll end up probably winners by about 40 points at this stage because the Eagles just aren't using the ball in that forward line very well. Their effort's there, commitment's there, but at the moment a 21-point lead to the Sturt side, and I can see it extending.
So at half-time in the match from Woodville Oval, the ABC match of the day, Sturt are 6 goals, 339. The Eagles are 2-6-18. You're watching the SANFL live and exclusive to ABC Sport. Well, what an interesting match it's been. If you're a Double Blue fan, I think you'll enjoy this. But if you're an Eagle fan, don't give up. I think the Eagles have still got a little bit left in the tank as we go into the second half. Stay with us throughout half-time as we'll preview Showdown 5. It's Port Power and the Adelaide Crows at Footy Park tomorrow in the Clash of the Titans. I think everyone in the state's talking about it. If you don't know about it, where have you been? And, of course, we'll also have a look at how the Eagles have recruited. This is the first time we've seen the Eagles this year, and we get a chance to have a look at where some of their players have gone, who's retired and who they've recruited. We'll also have a chat with Mark Micken, and we'll talk to Sturt's Brodie Atkinson, who's not playing today, and also we'll take you back to the 1993 Grand Final. It was the Eagles' finest hour against Norwood. If you're an Eagle fan, I think you'll enjoy it. But for now, Tim Jennifer rejoins us, and we talk to him about Showdown 5.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well, 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 at the moment. I suppose if you're a betting man, you probably put your money on Adelaide. And they do look the goods after what was a great second half against Sydney. But it's a funny old game, football, especially when it comes to these showdowns. You really do have to throw form out the window. Now, Showdown 1, Port Adelaide won that 11-17 to 11-6.
Adelaide were the red-hot favourites in that match.
They were. And afterwards, talking to a few of the Adelaide senior players, they said that was the wake-up call for them. They said they had a real good look at themselves in the old traditional cliche, and they really bounced back to have what was a premiership season after that. The second showdown, Port Adelaide led for most of the day, and in the end, a fast-finishing Crows in what was pretty rough conditions got over the top of them. Troy Bond kicking a goal on his brother to clinch the game.
So we've had a 9-point margin, a 7-point margin, then we go into Showdown 3, where we go back then to another 9-point margin.
Wet conditions all day, tough contest. It was a real slog, and really it was a great game, and Adelaide probably, for lost opportunities, probably outscored them and just missed the important ones. But Port Adelaide steadied up, won the game there. But then Showdown 4, she was a different story, David.
Well, what happened, Tim, in that one?
Well, Port Adelaide, I think, were really running on empty at that stage of the season. And the Adelaide Football Club really were just extending their, I suppose, their finals campaign the way they were heading towards it. And in the end, the last quarter, they just absolutely rampaged over the top with Darren Jarman kicking some very long 50-metre goals.
As we go to the Crows lineup, and Michael Parsons joins us. Michael, they have not changed their side from last week's big win over Sydney.
It was a very impressive half of football, wasn't it, from the Crows last week? And I guess you'd expect that from two-time champions, where their best would be very, very good. But interesting that Stevens at full forward. 2 weeks ago we were saying, yeah, the Crows have got to really find somebody to kick some goals up there. It's all very nice to be flexible. And all of a sudden he's bobbed up with 6. Problem solved, so to speak. Robin at centre-half forward, still not playing his best football, but we know that he's critical. Mark Rasciuto now getting a lot of the ball, and that very settled back line. And what a luxury it is for Malcolm Blight to have a player of the quality of McLeod just to be able to run off that half back line and create opportunities for his forwards.
Michael, I suppose I see the difference in the two sides. When it does get tough, and it probably gets to a point where the game has to be broken open, the Crows, for mine, just have so many good, mature players at this stage. They've got your Rasciutos, they've got your Smarts and your Harts, you know, McLeod and Jarman. They just turn it on when it's needed, and they just seem to be in that frame of mind for mine at the moment. Port Adelaide are going to have a lot of hard work in shutting down those really important players, aren't they?
For sure. I think the Adelaide Crows' advantage is that they've got power runners that can run all day, and they'll be still running just as fast and just as hard at the end of the day, compared to probably some of the quickest guys playing AFL football lining up for the power side. But it's quick, it's fast, but the Crows have just got that experience, as you say, Tim, that'll keep them running all day, stronger maybe at the ball. They're a good unit. That's why they've won 2 on the trot.
Well, Malcolm Blight has won 2 premierships as coach of the Adelaide Football Club. I think showdowns are pretty special, Tim, aren't they? And as we all know, Malcolm Blight enjoys a good showdown.
Good, runs 41 seconds.
We're telling we're going to use him for Port Power team. We're using Mark Nayley for the Port Power lineup with Tim. That and a little bit more, Tim.
Yeah, I think so. I just believe that they do have respect for, I think, any side, but especially Port Adelaide. And I think even if Barney French can break even with Pittman in the middle, and perhaps they can get something out of the centre, it could be a different contest to what people are expecting.
Mark Nayley joins us as we go to the Port Adelaide lineup, Mark, for the Power. They've lost Braden Lyle with a hamstring, Nigel Feagott with a hamstring, and Fabian Francis is out suspended.
Yes, those 3 players that we see, David, are not on the side this week, but they've gained a couple of players. Cockatoo Collins comes on the side, and he's a very, very good forward player. He's renowned for his goal-kicking ability, and I just think that they just need somebody up there. But you just see, I mean, since they've lost a big fella in Primus over the last sort of month of football, they've expected pretty big things of Bretton Lade. He hasn't responded to that challenge. And last week we saw a French stand up. He took the ruck duty on and did pretty well with his opportunity that was given to him. But you just think that Brendan Lade now being named at full forward tomorrow, with Treadgray at centre-half forward, just expect that they have got problems up forward. I just think that through the midfield, losing Lyle this week and also Francis, I think Port may struggle against the very, very confident Crows tomorrow.
And of course, the other thing, Tim, is that Brett Chalmers has not been able to take his place due to a knee injury in the lineup. Chad Gordon comes in for his first game of AFL football. It just adds another little bit of spice to the picture.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And I like Chad Corns. He's a great lad. I reckon he's got great hands, and maybe now that this opportunity could really just lift him. I suppose his attitude is just give him some confidence to go into AFL football and just have a real go. He did that, I thought, in his trial games that he played with the Power early last year, and I think he can really kick on from here, Chad Corns. All the best with it tomorrow, mate.
Chad Corns taken in the 1997 draft, the #1 draft picked for the Port Power side, number 9 overall, and he gets his first chance of AFL football tomorrow, and what a big occasion it is. Mark Williams, of course, also enjoys the showdowns, but sometimes there's more than 4 points on the line. You tip it. You tipping.
Adelaide. 30 seconds.
So you'll obviously be going for Port and you go, no.
I might say yeah.
Righto. Quick tips or leave the tips? Do you want to leave the tips?
5 seconds, here we go.
Yeah, something special for everybody, Tim. They've all been tough affairs, haven't they?
They have been, and I don't think tomorrow will be any different, and I think Mark really is playing it probably the right way mentally for the lads. Build them up slowly.
As I said, we're expecting a tough showdown tomorrow, but as we all know, the previous 4 showdowns have also been very tough.
Okay. 1.5. They didn't hear from base. I asked Dennis, but he didn't know. Next base. Do you hear?
No, we're running late. She just wants to keep going.
Oh, no worries. That's fine. No worries.
Nobody's going to miss it.
No.
And I don't think we need to put our commentators under pressure in this town.
Still a minute.
Michael Parsons and Mark Naylor get involved in the Eagles' losses and gains. Have they got a telly down there? Can they see?
Yep, they have. Yep, Dennis just let them know.
What are we doing first? We're doing the losses first.
Eagles losses first.
Right, that's Michael Parsons.
Okay. Parsons will do the losses.
Do you want to get involved in this or not?
Whatever you want, mate. Just give me one of them if you want me to do something.
Okay.
One of them.
Well, there's their stats of games played and goals kicked if you need them, if you want to pass a comment.
Yep. Michael's going to do the losses. 15 seconds.
That's right.
Now, here we go. Not far away. Here we go.
Port 2, Crows 2. It's a deadlock.
It is a deadlock. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
That'll be a tough one. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people down there. For those who can't get there, there is a live telecast on Arrival Network. We don't mind giving them a plug. It is football, after all. Well, the Eagles lost quite a few players in the summer months. We mentioned how hard they had to recruit. We might just take a little time to have a look as Michael Parsons joins us. The Eagles lost a lot of players, big fella.
That's for sure. I mean, there's some good quality players there. Jason Ziller, we've seen him running around here at Woodville Oval for a few years, and he's decided to hang up the boots. David Neiman, a big ruckman that possibly never reached the potential that everybody expected of him. He had a couple of tragedies in his personal life. His parents were killed in a horrible crash, and then he had some nasty injuries, and he just didn't get up to where everybody thought he could. Andrew Pays, who we're enjoying his company on ABC football Saturday afternoons occasionally, a veteran of over 300 games, he's a big loss. And then the quality just keeps going on of the guys that have moved on, but the players that have come in have been fantastic as well. Chad Rintoul, Nigel Palfreyman, gone back to Tassie, he's been a great player. Ben Hinnigans, Brent Mancini, who started with North Adelaide football team and then moved over here, has gone back to play local footy with Kilburn, and Jake Lynch as well.
Benny Higgins, of course, is overseas playing football. They've also lost Mark Kennedy, Peter Wilkinson and Aaron Shaddock. They were only one-game players. Rocky Zappia, we haven't seen him. I just wonder where he's gone as well. I'm trying to find him. And gains, Tim, the Eagles have picked up a few.
Well, they have. Jason Dillon, we spoke about earlier. John McCarthy's a good pickup, not playing today, obviously injured. But Jason Ray, I watched him in the reserves. He's a very good player, Jason Ray. Been very close to AFL selection at times, and I think really can kick on.
And I guess Mark Nardi, Wade Kingsley, coming back from North Melbourne, is a double bonus. He started his career with the Eagles.
Yes, David. Wade Kingsley, I mean, he's a very, very good player. I mean, they've gained him this year, and just looking at what they've lost this year and what they've gained this year and what they've done so far this year, the games that they've won, it's a credit to Mark Micken and also his match committee with the way that they've gone about their football this season. I just, they're a side that have shown so much potential over the last couple of years, and it's just taken a couple of years under Mark Micken's coaching to, finally to get some credits on the board.
Fair enough. Interesting that each club has to recruit a lot. They seem to lose so many players in the off-season, Tim.
That's just the way SANFL is at the moment. The high turnovers because of AFL drafts and, of course, people retiring as the game probably gets a little bit younger in the SANFL these days. So you're going to get that high turnover until we settle down.
Well, Mark Mickett, of course, is the Eagles coach, and he's got them sitting third on the ladder. During the week, we caught up with him and asked him about the pressures of being a coach. Sean, you seen Brody? Righto. We're ready for him.
You're recruiting well today, mate? You're recruiting well today? You're still doing that for Essendon, aren't you? Yeah. That's good, mate. Do you get to pick the games you go and see or not? Ah, excellent. Yeah. Yeah, you got Eagles got, I reckon, a couple dicey ones. That one down here could have been an early goal. Poor buggers.
It's a good man, this bloke.
Good fella.
Real good man. I don't reckon they could have imported too many other people. Like, he was the right man at the right time.
Yeah.
Just makes them a family. Takes them home for dinner.
1 minute. We're back on. We're back from this.
And then we throw off to Brody Atkinson. You can comment on him if you like. You want to pass a comment on him?
I reckon he's coming good.
Oh, just outside the 5 on percentage last year. Just. They came home. Just missed.
Good run. Yeah.
Just under 30. You're all there? 15. 10 seconds. We'll be emphasising this. 5 seconds. Here we go.
He does it pretty well, Tim. They've won their last 3 matches, but they've got their job in front of them at half-time in this match.
Well, they have, but he's done some good things, especially that last half of last year. I think that's when the confidence really came into the players, and he's continuing the good work this year. Well done, Mark.
The Eagles, of course, just missed the finals last year in a big run home and sitting third at the moment. As we promised you earlier, we wanted to speak with Sturt's Brody Atkinson. He's down on the boundary line with Michael Parker.
Yeah, thanks, David. As you said, with me, Brody Atkinson, the little Sturt and Adelaide champion, but sidelined at the moment, Brody, with an interesting football injury, a hernia.
Oh yes, it's fairly common amongst the football ranks, but something which hopefully I can get over fairly quickly.
And when do you expect to be back on the park?
It's something which I'm just going to let settle down over the next couple of weeks, and we'll rest it up, and hopefully after that 2-week break we can get back out on the track.
And Sturt, they had a reality check last week, but pretty well at it today, and their half-back line holding up particularly well.
Yeah, I think the boys got together during the week. It wasn't obviously a crisis meeting, but it was something that the boys needed to get back on track. We got a bye next week, so we need to go into the bye with a win. So I started really well this week.
And Brody, you played some of your first footy in a successful environment at North Adelaide, and now you're watching some success develop at Sturt. What are the similarities between those two clubs?
I think obviously it's very close-knit. The boys at North Adelaide are all very close friends, and same here at Sturt. It's a very close-knit club, and now that success is starting to come along their way, obviously the supporters as well.
And Coach Carman, how are you finding his style of going about things, maybe compared to what happens down at Football Park?
Oh, there's quite a lot of similarities between the two. As a matter of fact, they're very laid back. They create a very relaxed atmosphere. So between the two, they're very similar. But I'm sure with Phil's background, it may be a little bit more checkered than what Malcolm was.
And tomorrow, obviously, a fabulous day for footy in town tomorrow. How do you see that game unfolding?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic to be playing in a showdown, but hopefully one day we'll get to play in one. But I'm sure Adelaide boys have trained really well during the week, and I'm sure they'll come away with a win.
Fantastic, Brady. I think we'd all like to be out there playing tomorrow, David, particularly you and I.
No way. I'm happy to be watching it, Michael. And I'll tell you one thing I am happy to be watching, as we do each week. We have a little bit of a historical segment. And today, it's the 1993 Grand Final, the Eagles versus Norwood.
Weston. David Weston.
Trigger Mackay, great commentators. Trigger Mackay.
Swung back.
Which jumper do you prefer, this jumper or the new jumper?
New one.
Interesting. The tractor, have a look at him. Bronze. They let him go. He was tough, he was big. All they did was get him fit.
He's too lazy and undisciplined.
Just had to give him a minder.
Huh?
Give him a minder. At this level, he could have kicked 100 goals 10 years in a row.
Huh?
He could have kicked 100 goals 10 years in a row here. They just threw him out.
Too lazy though.
He's always been a bad kick.
Yep.
Just nod. Gotcha. Extra tape item, what was that?
Okay.
Timmy, just get in the posse, mate.
Nickel.
That's right. No, there's no camera 2 here for a white shot of me. Righto. Yep. I'll see you down there, Michael. I'll put these away and I'll be back. $73 points. I think the Eagle fans would have enjoyed that. We apologise to the Norwood fans, but we've got some more tape of the Redlegs as we start the second half here at Woodville Oval. 21 points in favour of the Double Blues. Your commentator is Mark Nailey with Tim Ginniver.
Yes, thank you, David. It was a tremendous first half. We see the margin there, 21 points to the Double Blues. And they start again through Wetherill, going up forward. Fruin just read it a bit better. He's now picking up Julian Burton, who's been moved out to centre-half forward late in that second quarter. Hall did go with him, but the move has been made now. As the Eagles, half-forward flank, coming out hard as Patlin. He'll get there. Good courage there shown by Threadgold, just punching the ball out towards the boundary line. The Eagles again will go over the top. Coming out hard as 39. He jumps and he takes it. A tremendous leap
Scotty Matthews.
by Matthews. So he must have just come on, I think, Matthews, at half-time there. He's come on, he's been moved up to the forward line and takes his first mark for the afternoon. Still a young player. His first kick this afternoon. Onto his right leg. Really tight angle. The breeze is not doing much with it. What breeze there is here at Woodville Oval this afternoon. And it's a major, or a behind at least.
It's a major behind.
That's a major behind.
As you are.
The margin now, David, 20 points.
Comments Mark Nailey as Threadgold. Here's a penetrating kick, heads it in the direction of Richter, misses it. Holland streaks away with pace for the Eagles. He's a quick kid, this fellow. Gives it out to Colville, who was under an injury cloud during the week, but was good enough to come through. Pushes it forward. Disappointing for the Eagles. They drop that ball. Irvin forces it out into space. Biglands goes wider still. Toe pokes it to Holland. Evades the tackle from Powell. Got crunched in the finish by Lennon. Wetherall bashes it back from where it came from. It's sat nicely for Kennett. On the left, it's a long bomb, and White sits underneath this one. Big fly was Philippou, but at the back door, it's Woosden. Around the corner, and he's got it. A goal to Woosden. He's second.
Well, the Eagles can take a leaf out of the Double Blues book there. The way they ran that ball straight down the corridor. Just watch Kennett coming into the corridor, kicking it long. The contest here, all one-on-ones. Two up beautifully crumbed and rode by Woosnam in front of Rogers on that occasion. It's been a good drill today, but good work by Woosnam there. And that's a goal, an early goal to Sturt. They'd be happy with that, but the Eagles certainly wouldn't be.
Well, fellas, the Eagles up to half-time. They've had 7 more kicks, 2 more handballs, 10 more marks. They're inside 50, 20, 25 to 22 times, 9 more hit-outs, 2 more centre breaks, and they went down at half-time by 21 points.
Bigland stumps the ball down. Wetherall around the corner on the left boot. Here comes Rogers. Shouldn't quite gather it in, heads towards the boundary line. He's generally pretty solid in this situation, but he's bustled off it by Woosden. Getting the kick away was Burton, a long bomb towards the full forward line. Ferguson took a big fly. Hall now sits over it. He gets a good shepherd, just enough space in which to work. It's a high bomb. Here comes Woosden, 3 deep. Threadgold from the back, forced the ball forward. Richter couldn't get away the kick, and the Eagles need to defend stoutly as they go towards the boundary line. Barker keeps it in, forces the ball to Colville. He's got space to work in, and he forces it along the boundary line. Well done was Dillon, just a little nudge, and around the corner goes the kick towards full forward. But unfortunately for the Eagles, Geddes drops back underneath it. And in other matches this afternoon, it's Central trailing Port Adelaide at Elizabeth Oval at half-time, and West Adelaide are getting clobbered by Glenelg at half-time at Lamoureux.
The big upset there, the Bays controlling that match for our first country game this year for the SANFL. We see Colville pirouettes around Wetherall, kicks it up towards half-forward. The Eagles go up in front. Good work there. Coming through was Pavlik. He's still over the top of the football, onto his left leg, around the body. He's put it out of bounds on the fall.
It just perhaps could have got that one to the top of the square rather than have a shot. In the end, it didn't get dropped off the boot at all well, but certainly given them a target anyway. Pavlich at centre half forward.
Threadgold. A short ball. Squire, who's been prominent in this match. Ten possessions for him, and Burton. Well, he's given them a target since coming out from full forward. White wasn't giving them much there, and they seem to have really responded since he's been out there. Burton fends off an opponent. There's an injured player down behind. It's Kennett. As Pichura drifts down into the middle, and I like what you were talking about, Tim. Sturt are playing corridor football, and they're beating the Eagles at it. Down the middle he goes. The Eagles' defence is working overtime. Rogers around the corner to Colville. What good vision. Squire was just there to stop him playing on, and I think that's been the facet of the Double Blues. They've stopped the Eagles from running the ball out of defence. It's been stop-start for them. Now Dillon in front of the grandstand on centre wing. Another high bomb. They need Pavlich to get back underneath it. Oh, well done, Robertson. He is an aerialist.
There was only one bloke that had his eyes on the football, and that was Robertson. He tacked it beautifully and took the mark.
Powell defence. Wasn't a good kick there by Powell. Comes back to Dillon. Dillon onto his right boot. Goes up towards Pavlich. Pavlich in the front position in front of Threadgold. Couldn't take it. Powell, desperate as ever, over the top of the football.
I can't help
keeps it to the ground level.
Can't help but thinking, Tim, if they give this kid some space, he would explode in this game.
What you were talking about earlier, DB, there, Sturt ran the ball up. They get it to about the wing position, then it comes back into the corridor. Eagles, on the other hand, keep going down the flank.
McGregor turns it around the corner. Who's underneath this one? Geddes, 39 for the Eagles, to Scotty Matthews. The umpire's picked up the free. Well, don't the Eagles need a goal here?
Well, they do. Scotty Matthews had an opportunity earlier in the game, in this quarter, to get an early goal, but he didn't. This time he's got a shot from a similar angle, but nothing in that, Mark Nally, I don't think.
Well, we might have missed something. I'm sure I didn't, but there was nothing in that.
I agree with you, fellas.
Well, you got to take the opportunity, don't you?
I think the umpire thought he might have grabbed him by the jumper, but the replay showed that he didn't. It was a difficult angle, and Matthews,
good goal,
pops it through. An important one for the Eagles.
Well, if the Eagles are to stay in this contest, they have to outscore Sturt this quarter. And that's a good way to start. Get a goal on the board. Just get some reward for some of the work you've done if we see an interchange for Sturt. Waltham off and Soderstrom on, back into the centre to do some ruck work.
Scotty Matthews, number 39, came on after half-time. He's had a couple of contests. The second one there, he's put up his first major for the afternoon. We're back in the middle of the ground. We see Waltham just having a bit of a break. Soderstrom being moved back into the ruck once again, up against Biglands. Biglands late, only got his hand on the football. Richter comes up with it, kicks it up towards half-forward. Burton overruns it, as does Woodland. Fruin takes it on the left leg, goes for the boundary for touch. Nearly out of bounds on the fall, but the ball will be thrown in.
Guys, I'm an impartial voter, as you know that.
Yep.
Today, of course, Eagles and Sturt. And the way, every time Sturt move into their forward lines, I get nervous that they're going to kick a goal for the Eagles. They look so much more dangerous up there.
I think they've got their forward line open, Tim, and when the ball does fall, it's allowing their forward space to run into, certainly their little fellas.
But the Eagles, it just looks like a struggle every time they come in within the forward 50 yard.
I just had a quick look, Tim, at the Eagles' top goal kickers from last year. Pyman with 33, Matty Kluzak with 26, Brett Burton with 23, Chris Kluzak with 21, and Nick Pesh. So their top 5 goal kicks from last year aren't in this match, and we always wondered where they were going to get their goals from, even though Pavlich has been going so very well this season. Twit around the corner, big fly Lennon over the top of Sikalella. Lennon went to have a kick and thought better of it. And just as well, because Richter dived on top of it, he would have had his head kicked off.
Now, David, you're fairly close to the club. Robert Pyman, what's his story at the moment?
Stress fractures in his feet and is still a few weeks away, we believe. They believe?
Well, I'll believe anything at the moment.
Well, and then there's a matter of fitness, Tim, isn't there? After you've had stress fractures, you've not been able to do the running. So then he's got to get match fitness. So, you know, that's going to be the difficult thing. He might be okay to play, but his impact on a game is going to be doubtful as well.
Well, it probably takes a month. Probably takes a month to get yourself into stride as far as playing, and he's such a good player.
Nick Pesh is another one they're missing
Oh,
today.
great player.
Biglands brings the ball down. The Eagles go forward through their captain. He doesn't waste too many opportunities. Looks for Pavlich. Pavlich tried to use his body.
Can I just say there, Mark, he was feeling for his opponent. He didn't know where he was, and he was just pushing back, and in the end, he didn't meet the footy. Now, early, watch Wayne Carey, smashes into his opponent, and then comes straight back and attacks the football.
There's lessons to be learned. Good observation this afternoon by Tim Jenner, our special comments for the ABC this season. Along with Andrew Page, we see a loyal double blue supporter there. Simon Feast on her left shoulder, or right shoulder. And Chris Thrall, a thread gold on her left. Wetherell comes out over the twit. The Sturt runners are at it again. They link up very, very well. The kick wasn't good. Burton was out of position. He's not happy with the result either from Irvin. Sees Fruin take another mark.
Fruin concedes ground. Floriani, one step and a high bomb. Who wants this one? McGregor was up, but thumped away from him by Maloney. Loose ball falls. Nobody can take it. Sikalella spins out of trouble. Over the top and picking up a free kick, said the umpire, as Matty Whelan. He started the game on the interchange bench, Matty Whelan. Gives it off to Sikalella. Where's he going? Floriani and Lennon. That's a mismatch. Lennon over the top, just drags Floriani. Floriani did very well.
He did. I'll tell you what, Sikalella there, I thought he got the ball on a bit slow for Floriani, but Floriani did the world of good on one-on-one with a taller opponent.
Floriani to Pavlich. Oh, the big fella's up on a big fly. That's a great grab.
He does do that well, doesn't he? When he's attacking the footy, his hands are excellent. I'm really impressed with this lad.
Pavlich towards Dillon at centre half forward. The ball is stumped away from him. Loose ball, goes to Twit. He's pretty good at picking up those crumbs. A funny old kick. He just hurried his work. I thought he was under more pressure than he was. An infringement. The umpire said, now who was that? Squire was held. So Squire in the midfield. Blasted into space. 2-on-1 contest. White was up, but Hall from behind thumps the loose ball to ground. Katura. Hall goes for the safety of the boundary line. Nowhere else to go.
Good work in the end by Hall. He got the spoil away very well, and then he followed it up, took the ball out, allowed the Eagles midfield to come down and help out now.
White will go up for it. Gets pushed under it by Biglands. Biglands onto his right leg, kicks it high, comes out towards Barker. Pachura just too tall for Barker, takes the ball in the air, gives it across to Soderstrom. Soderstrom's left leg, he'll go over the top of the square. Where's Burton? Couldn't quite get across there. Biglands is back quickly to cut it off, then throws himself over the top of the football with his right boot and kicks it up. Gains about 30 metres, and the umpires paid the free kick back to Red Biglands. With a big ruckman, good second, good third effort. Maybe really down field that should have
If
gone.
anything, yeah.
Yeah, because he got rid of the kick, then crashed into by Burton.
Oh, McGregor, big fly over the top. That's where they need to move it on quickly, the Eagles. Pavlich, the target, dragged off the contest by Robertson. Play on, said the umpire. Dillon needs to get a handball away, but Powell just smothered the handball. It was great work by the Sturt defender.
Robertson got in there as well. Was good work. See an interchange down there. Looks like Barker coming off. And James going back on.
You go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line.
Fellas, you've picked it already, the interchange there, but you've got to be impressed with the way Brett Biglands is going around his task in the ruck. Jumping up against a smaller Soderstrom, he's starting to have an influence on the game.
Maloney away, dispatches the kick to half forward. Hall, who's drifted down from fullback and is now about half back.
Well, they've actually made the move there, Dave. It looks like Fruin's gone back with Burton to fall forward and fall back respectively, and it looks like Hall's come out to centre half back on wide.
So they're just going to go man on man. Not a bad call.
Coming up with it, Darzanos. Been quiet since the first quarter. Gets his kick down in front of the members' stand here at Woodville Oval. The ball's pushed out over the line. So 25 plays 45, a 20-point margin for the Double Blues. As we see the ball thrown in. Good knock pushed down there by James. There's no support. Double Blues are there in numbers again through Powell. He kicks up looking for White. Good work by Fruin. Nearly takes it. Floriani gives the handball across. 55 is Biglands, working very, very hard for a big fella. Lennon's in there. Good duel out in the outer wing. Coming up with it is Holland. Goes one way or the other. Decides to come back to find his captain in Rogers. Rogers with a quick little kick forward finds Dan Zanos.
Yeah, who would that be, Mark?
Eagles having a lot of possessions in the midfield at the moment, but not going over the lines at the moment.
Floriani right in the middle of the field. Burton comes back out to centre half forward, so the Double Blues are interchanging their centre half forward and their full forward, trying to confuse the Eagles' defence. Cicolella over the top of it, dragged by Geddes. Play on, said the umpire, and a bounce the result. We are 14 and a half minutes into the third quarter. It's a 20-point ball game in favour of the Double Blues.
Well, the next 5 minutes, one of these sides is going to break it open. Sturt can either go on with it, or the Eagles can get themselves back into it.
Just over 3 goals, so the margin's not beyond either side at this stage. We see the Eagles come up with it. It's a good kick up forward. Threadgold takes a safe mark.
Geez, he's a good defender, Threadgold. Week after week, you see him do the job on full forwards.
You'd rate him the best in the competition.
Just doesn't get noticed.
Well, I think he was named in the last 2 teams of the year, Jim, so I think the people that need to know recognise his ability. He's certainly the best in this competition. Colville gets the handball away. Floriani had a dose of the fumble, still gets it out to Rogers. A slick handball releases Pearce. Now here comes Darzanos. Crashing forward, McGregor. Pearce at 50, goes long towards the goal. Pavlich from behind, but Threadgold, the ever-reliable Chris Threadgold, the skipper of the Double Blues, carries it across the line. And in other matches this afternoon, it's Central and Port fighting out a tough one. Port Adelaide have got the upper hand at Elizabeth, and Glenelg have got West Adelaide at Lamoureux by the shorts.
Ball thrown in. Behind is Pavlich. Pure strength, got around his pack, over his left shoulder. It's a good kick. It's gone across the face of goal, bounces and comes back into play. Umpire indicates it's hit the out of the point post, which means it will be thrown in. So again, they will set up. Pavlich again took that ball out of the air. Let's see if he tries it again. This time McGregor goes up for it. In front there was Robinson. Put it down in front. Again, we see them working overtime. Coming over the top was Geddes. Trying to have a piece of Darzanos.
Great piece of work by Pavlik earlier. He really is impressive. Some of the work he does is very
come
mature.
on, don't be stupid, umpire. That is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous decision. It was just body on body, having a bit of a bumping session, and all of a sudden the umpire blows his stupid whistle.
Well, let me take over. Shirley gave a long bomb out, and Matthews has marked it. He's kicked one. He played 16 games last year for the Eagles, and I think if my memory serves me, he kicked 7 goals. So he didn't have a big impact on the scoreboard, but today he's already got one. He's kicking for goal from 30 out. This is a crucial kick for the Eagles, and I think he's got it. So 7 for the season last year and 2 already today.
Well, Scott Matthews has really given something since he's come on the field. He's given them an option. He's taken a couple of marks, had 3 shots at goal, but in the end, that decision, Mark Nally, probably opened up the forward lines for the Eagles. So we'll have to say well done to Greg Ing there.
They frustrate me sometimes, those men in white. But we see the Eagles, they're back into this game again. 31 plays 45.
And you know what, Mark? I hate it when you're right.
I'm always right, Dave. He's going to agree with me occasionally. Biglands puts the ball down. Powell takes it out of the edge. Just reading Biglandson's tap this afternoon. Floriani comes up with it. Will he use his pace? He decides to go for the left foot kick. It goes up wide. Well read there. Great courage by Chicarella. He takes it. Needs to get the ball in quickly. He goes one way, then the other. This side goes a bit wide. Gives a chance for Pavlik. Couldn't take it overhead. Good work down there by Dillon. Kicks around his body, only to find Threadgold on the last line of defence.
He's very tough to get around, the skipper. A long bomb, Maloney, and well done, Pearce. Down the throat of McGregor, who just roved it beautifully. Oh, good fly, Colville, and he's not been paid the mark. The umpire's paid the man in front, and that's Lennon.
Well, this is a 100-year-old rule, man in front, I suppose.
Oh, I don't know. Look at that again. I'm
dead right.
Not being biased here.
I'm an Eagles fan. The man in front, it's been... Timmy hit it right on the head. 100-year rule, man in front, when in doubt, pay the man in front.
But look at this, he takes it.
Oh,
he's got the
Lennon has a fair bit of that.
Oh, not much of it.
On
I
the
reckon
first grab.
Colville's got most of it.
Sorry, Mark, the umpire had no choice there. Sicolella thumps the ball down. Pearce just outside the line. It is a contentious one, but I think it stood the test of time, that rule.
Yeah, just be consistent with it, but it's fired up this third quarter. It's fired up. The boys are into it.
Feel calm, and gee,
I'm just talking about the commentary.
that time we did too, if you don't mind. And Biglands, well, he's been good today for the Eagles. He thumps that one forward. Patura forced onto the right boot. It's a high bomb. Underneath this one, Fruin thumps the ball down. Burton tried to crash through. Here comes Twit, but Sicolella was riding him like a jockey. Powell was good enough to skirt around the pack, pick up the crumb, and drive it long and high towards full forward. Ferguson couldn't get there. Now Whelan for the Eagles. Distributes it back. 33 is Robert Shirley, and he goes wider still. Lennon, front position, and Colville. Haven't they been battling it out? And Colville can't believe it. He's hit fair dinkum.
No! Oh, who is that? Come on, who's a man in white? That was... Oh,
what are you saying?
I think that's Greg Ing.
Well, it's a bit soft.
And that one is, yeah. I'm with Mark Nally on that one. But in the end, I think Colville, and this is a funny thing, people are human beings, even umpires, believe it or not. And I think Colville...
I've never heard that story before.
With the spray that he gave him earlier,
he hadn't won any points with the men in white.
Works against you.
Big Biglands takes it out of there, gives it across to Colville. Just get it to your boot, fella, before the umpire blows his whistle on you. He took my advice. It's on the ground again. 32 is James. They paid the advantage. The Eagles with numbers will run across half forward. They need to give the ball across. Oh no, he's wasted. He's pirouetted around the player. Then couldn't get it. He should have been pinned there for holding the ball. The Eagles have a chance here. 25 is Holland. Holland will go over the top to Pavlik. Pavlik will go over the top to Dillon. What can Dillon do around his body? He better not waste it. I don't think he has. The Eagles are hitting back.
They're within 9 points.
Well, they have worked very, very hard for that goal. And their work rate this quarter, as like the first half, has always been there, but this time they're getting some rewards up forward for it. Just moving it a little quicker. Some great work by Chicolella. He overdid his work. He probably could have got done for holding the ball there, but great work by Colville as well, just to keep persisting, keep pushing the ball forward. And then in the end, it paid off with some good work in the forward line. Good gives over the top. And Jason Dillon's left leg, I was a little bit worried about that. I thought he could have steadied up.
8-point ball game. We're just on 22 minutes into the third quarter. It's tightening up for the Double Blues as the Eagles show some character, and Biglan's in particular is doing some tough work in ruck.
And David, maybe your 5-day theory may come into effect here.
I did worry for the Double Blues. I think given the weather conditions are pretty warm here today, and they've only had 5 days to recover from a pounding by Port Adelaide, it was always going to be a tough call for the Double Blues today. In the final quarter, we'll answer the questions.
Well, that's why I suppose the Eagles thought to themselves they've got to be in touch at three-quarter time, and that's what they're working very hard to be at.
Ball's down again. Biglan's with Soderstrom. Neither player taking the ball out of the air. So as players congregate around the centre of this ground here at Woodville Oval, we see Ferguson coming off. Number 23 and Waltham will come on. So some changes being made here by Coach Carman, realising the Eagles in the last 10 minutes of this game are starting to get back in. They've kicked a couple of goals, one through Matthews, the other through Dillon. They're back in. They still travel 8 points as they go forward again through Colville. Puts the ground down. The umpire keeps the whistle in his pocket, letting the game flow. Some great commitment shown here by both sides. Great desperation. Body over the ball. Just hard at it. We see Richter waiting on the boundary line. And down at the boundary level, we've got Mike Parson. The atmosphere is starting to build, Michael.
Mate, there's some local supporters here that are starting to enjoy the comeback from the Eagles. With just an interchange there. Soderstrom went to the forward pocket when Waltham come back on the ground to take the ruck. And now Johnny Richter's moved to replace him. So Richter in the forward pocket, Soderstrom on the bench, and Big Waltham back into the ruck.
Biglands knocks the ball down again in this direction. A bit of bashing and thrashing occurring here. Good hands by Holland over the Colville. Colville inside 50, puts it high up forward, going back as safe as ever as Threadgold. Takes it, Mr. Cool, Mr. Collective, gets it, moves it out wide towards Lennon. Lennon has time to bounce, decides not to, goes with a kick up forward towards Burton. Great work by Fruin over the back. Puts the ball down, Floriani just makes sure it's out over the line. They'll settle down, they'll set up, and they'll attack again.
The Eagles have really sparked it up in this last 5 or 6 minutes. I said at the 17-minute mark that something had to happen, and they really have sparked up with a couple of goals and got themselves back in this game.
In other matches this afternoon, it's Central and Port Elizabeth Oval. Port Adelaide have the upper hand in that match, and at Lameroo, Glenelg continue their improved form this year, and they seem to be counting for West Adelaide midway through the third quarter in that match at Lameroo. McGregor and Waltham, dead heat, nobody won that one. Powell, 2 kicks, the first was smothered. Now Pearce, handball, Whelan goes to the back door, and there's a free kick picked out. That's going to Matty Whelan. That's going to Pearce.
Pearce.
So the umpire said he was slung out of the contest. And a high ball underneath his base, 3-on-1. No chance for the Eagles forwards. As Irvin, just a lazy little left footer under pressure. That was the key. Threadgold. Now Dillon just inside the line, but he couldn't keep it in. And a very good crowd here at Woodville Oval.
Well, great pressure there by Jason Dillon. He just kept out his opponent, forcing the ball there. James just fumbled at the crucial moment as he tried to get his handball away.
Ball thrown in. Over the top there was Waltham. Couldn't take it. 24 is Squire. Been held on to there by Colville. As I said before, they come in all shapes and sizes and all ages. From grandmothers down to 3 or 4-year-olds. They love their football. And perfect conditions here at Woodville Oval to witness this contest. A much improved Eagle side this year in 1999, up against last year's favourites in the Double Blues, going down in last year's grand final to the Magpies. We hear the three-quarter time siren here to win this game, and fellas, we really have got a match on our hands.
Well, it's fired up, hasn't it, Mark Nayley? It was excellent quarter by the Eagles. A lot of hard work, nothing too fluent, but I've got to say that you've got to hand them a credit for their work rate. It was outstanding the way they just keep pushing the ball forward. There's some great work up forward. A lot of the work of Holland, Colville that quarter. Pearce just continues on to have a good game for the Eagles. And Sturt, on the other hand, they still look dangerous. Every time they go forward, they still look dangerous. They're one-on-one contests with White, Burton up forward. They always look dangerous, and they use the ball so much better, I suppose, than the Eagles at the moment. But the Eagles' work rate, they probably doubled the possessions of Sturt in that quarter. We'll check that out later on. But it really was a great work rate. Mark Micken will be very pleased and pumping his players up now, I reckon.
No doubt about that as we go into three-quarter time with the Eagles 5-7-37. Sturt are 7 goals, 3-45. You're watching the SANFL live and exclusive to ABC Sport.
10 seconds.
We hope you enjoyed this match live on ABC Sport throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory. Tim, I think we all thought when Woosden snapped the early goal for the Double Blues that they were away and running and the game was beyond the Eagles, but we're all proved wrong.
Well, it was right at the point where it could have been, and it was dangerous, and it was a great piece of work here early on in the game by Sturt. They were moving it through the corridor. Kennett here got his kick away. This is a great crumbing by Woosden. Just watch this, front and centre, bang, onto it.
Non-preferred leg?
Around. Yep. No, he's a right footer, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he is. That was a great goal by Woosden there.
Now, I loved you when you fired up and you got Mark Nardi, which I loved even more. Right, the old man in front rule. Lennon took front position. Gavin Colville came across the top and we gave Mark Nardi a double whammy.
Well, it is a 100-year-old rule, and I think Lennon had a fair bit of this at the beginning, but Colville over the top. And you've got to stick with that, I think, umpire. Oh. Good decision in the end, and Mark Nardi was pretty fired up about it, but that was good.
Oh, I love him.
Fired up the quarter, I like that.
Beats the pants off Mark Nardi going to sleep on us, as he does some weeks after those big Friday nights out. What about, I thought when the Eagles started running, they looked a lot more dangerous. I think probably the one goal that probably epitomised them running it out of their defence was the one where Jason Dillon ended up on the end of a number of handballs and popped it through.
Excellent piece of work, wasn't it? It just over the top here, we said Chikalella just did too much work there on his own, but the string of handballs from here ends up with Holland. He's a classy player. He's got great vision. He just seems to find players. Pavlik, who's been good in that quarter, and Jason Dillon, excellent goal on his left footer. He is a goal scorer, and he has to do that for the Eagles and just keep them going. So, excellent piece of work there by Jason Dillon.
Well, the Eagles kicked 3 goals that quarter, kept the Double Blues to 1. We talked at the start of the match, if you joined us, about Port Adelaide taking on Sturt last Monday. Sturt had a 5-day break, and we wondered whether or not 5 days was enough to fire up against the Eagles, and it might prove to be the difference.
Well, the Eagles had to be in touch at three-quarter time, and they are now. I was worried at one stage when they got the first goal that they could blow the lead out and then just cruise home. But now the game is in the balance, and we'll just see how fit, I suppose, the Sturt side is. And I know they are fit, so it'll be interesting to see how they finish off this game now.
I thought when the Eagles were down 9 points at quarter time, they were still in touch. As we go to the three-quarter time scoreboard, they were down 21 points at half-time and in real danger. And I think at one stage, the margin blew out to something like 28 points. We thought they were in real trouble, but they fought back beautifully.
Well, Mark Micken will be very proud of his team's work rate, especially in that quarter. Like you said, the point there when they got that 28-point lead, it looked like it was going to blow out completely, but Scotty Matthews, he kicked 2 goals, and his start to the game was outstanding when he came on the third quarter. Really gave him something up forward. Dylan, Colville and James 1 each. For Sturt, Woosnam's got 2, White 2, Burton, Ferguson and Twitt 1 each. And they'll need a quick one, Sturt, to try and keep in this game.
Steady, and Mark Nayley has his bifocals on. He's checking the stats for us, and he is reporting.
Well, we just see that, David, and also Tim, the Eagles, I said at half-time they were well on top with the kicks and the handball. We still see that. The marks are still on top. The frees are favouring them as well. Hit-outs are on top. Centre square breaks when they're going towards the Double Blues, and turnovers 27. So the Eagles are on top on all the major departments as far as kicks, handballs and marks, but they're still trailing, down by 9 points after the first quarter, 21 at half-time and 8 points. But so they're getting hold of the football. It's just their use of it.
I'd love to have the statistics from Elizabeth Oval with Central District at home losing what would appear to be their 3rd game at home this year, and that is almost unheard of.
Well, it's certainly not over at the moment. Only 4 goals in it, and anything can happen in football these days. But Port Adelaide, if they can win there, that'll be the first time they've won in Elizabeth since 1994. So a long losing streak at Elizabeth, and Central's 3 games that Elizabeth lost.
Yeah, explain this one to me, Tim, if you can.
Well, the Bays have been playing good football this year. Don't be mistaken by some of the results. They've been in it sometimes. They just haven't played consistent. But now they're starting to string it together. That's an outstanding lead at the moment.
Fair enough. An interesting, couple of very interesting results in SANFL football. Well, I guess Phil Carman is imploring his side to run out the game as we go down to Michael Parsons.
Yes, Phil spent a fair bit of time over the whiteboard before he came out to address his players, and only just started to talk to his players when we've got to come and talk to you, David. but very pleased with what's going on in the defensive end. Really wants to see his players get in and get after the ball. Around the restart situations, he's looking for his players to hang back a little bit, and he thinks that they're crowding the restart situations just a tad. Mark Mickett, on the other hand, also very pleased with what his boys have got up to that quarter. Feels that the fight back has started already. A new situation for them, been down at three-quarter time, but his theme right throughout the things he said to his lads was long and quick entries into the forward line, where Matthews will give them a good competition both in the air and on the ground.
Now, Michael, stay there while we've got you. Give us a weather report. Is there any breeze at all favouring either end?
There is the slightest zephyr floating down towards the end that we'll see to which the Eagles will be attacking this quarter.
Now, you're out in the middle, the crowd, good crowd, mainly pro-Sturt or pro-Eagles?
There's a fair few Sturt supporters made the trek across town, actually, but the Eagles, they feel there's something going on with this young team, and the crowd are around Mark Mickett at three-quarter time. Very positive, very supportive, and pretty keen to come out at the end of the day with their team sitting at number 2 on the ladder.
Good man, Michael. A comprehensive report, and as you see, shots of the crowd. A very good crowd from Woodville Oval enjoying this highly entertaining match between the Eagles and Sturt. Second versus third, as we go back to Mark Nayley.
Yes, David, just the stats up to three-quarter time there. Individually, you see Chicarella's had 24 possessions, Colville's had 21, Pearce, Floriani and also Holland have had 14 each. And for the double blues, Powell 17, Lennon's had 18, Robinson 13. But Tim, we just spoke about Rhett Brickens before. He's getting his hands to the football, but he's not putting it down to his little players.
No, just noticing in that third quarter, a lot of good work by Rhett Brickens today. He's been one of the Eagles' best, but dominating the hit-outs, but a lot of them aren't going to the Eagles' runners, so they've just got to sort out their ruck work. A bit more voice when the big man's in the air as well. He just doesn't seem to know where they are when he's up in the air.
It's an 8-point ball game here at Woodville Oval. Stay with us. We are live until 5 throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory. Can the Eagles get up and cause a boil over, or will the double blues be good enough to hold on? Geddes claimed by Sicolella and Holland. Gang tackle. Good desperate work.
David, this is the way each quarter has started, isn't it? Both teams smashing in right at the beginning, giving nothing away. So it's been a great game.
The Eagles' forward line still seems a little congested. 6 players just hovering around the 50-metre line. The Eagles will need to open up that section. Waltham takes the ball out of ruck, threw it away. The umpire said too late. I'd already blown the whistle.
Yeah, always disappoints you when you're the bloke that's collected the football too and you run away. Very disappointing for Holland there.
This is going to be a fantastic last quarter. Don't leave your seats at home. The Eagles haven't given up. They've come back from 21 points at half-time to trail by 8 there at three-quarter time. He's had 2 chances. Coming through was Dillon. The umpire picked up on the third. Great tackle there by Powell. And he'll set proceedings to go forward in this last quarter. The atmosphere is tremendous here at Eagles Park. The ball's up towards Burton.
Woodville Oval, would that be?
It's Eagle Park to me. The home of the Eagles. Weatherall out over the boundary line. Good tackle there by Floriani.
Well, everybody's into this contest, aren't they? The crowd's firing up as well.
They've got their shades on. Perfect, awesome day here. Squire just hangs on to it. Colville doing a lot of hard work since half-time. Just trying to get his side moving. So down again, just outside of 50. It's down. Lennon will come over the top, dumps the ball down, looking for the running forward line players. There's none there. Over the top is Bruin, couldn't take it. Gets a chance here for Twitt. He's tackled well there from behind by Shirley. And the ball's out over the line.
Bruin just took a while to pick that ball up and gave Sturt the opportunity to come in and take it off him.
2 minutes into the final quarter. It's an 8-point ball game. We're live from Woodville Oval. We hope you're enjoying it. Bruin.
Good hands, Bruin.
Very clever. To Rogers, who is always cool under pressure. To Hall, who's been very good today, has given Burton a tough time. And the kick finds touch.
Julian Burton, 1 goal this afternoon. That was in the first quarter.
And it was half a gimme because there was a push and a shove. He picked it up off the ground and snapped it, so he's had no clean marks and no clean kicks for goal. 4 kicks, no handballs, 1 goal, zip, off 2 marks. A rare quiet day for Julian Burton, and Stephen Hall, I guess, is going to be figuring Tim amongst the Eagles' best players.
Hall and Fruin, fullback and centre halfback, have been outstanding for the Eagles today.
They've had a few little runners floating around the ground that have been clever as well.
They've done a lot of work in the midfield. It hasn't been all that clean at times with the entry into the forward line, been a bit wide, but you cannot doubt their endeavour.
Well, we might give you the job of doing the 3-2-1 for both teams. We'll cover that at the end of the match. Waltham gets a handball out. Seamus Maloney on the left boot, zeroes it in and drills it long and low. The target was Burton. He couldn't quite handle it. He's competing, but nothing's working for him.
Well, he'll always have a go, Julian Burton. He'll always have a go, and he attacks the ball very, very hard. So you're always going to get a contest out of him.
He's always dangerous. He's likely to pop up and kick 2 goals before the game finishes. They go forward again, the Eagles. It's up high. Over the back there was Pavlik, couldn't take it. The chip kick forward, coming out hard, looks like McGregor. Matthews, Scotty Matthews kicked 2 goals in that third quarter.
They seem to have a bit of height in their goal-to-goal line, Tim, as well.
They do. They've got a young, reasonably young spine, but it's a good spine.
And doing the job so far. Pavlich tried to flick it to the boundary to reset. Geddes was claimed. He got the handball away. Threadgold might just concede the point, I guess. No, he handballs it away, so it's a tight game. And he realises every point's worthwhile saving. But Threadgold's kick was marked by Holland, who has been terrific today for the Eagles.
Great pressure on the full forward line there of the Eagles. Scotty Matthews just kept at Threadgold straight at the body. Great tackle that was. Made Weatherall force his kick, and Holland's on the end of it.
So Holland, who only played 9 games for the year last year, kicked a couple of goals. He hasn't got a great goal-kicking record. This will be one of his most important kicks for goal in his career, and he's nailed it. The confidence is sky high. The Eagles are back within 2 points.
Well, David, he told you what you can do with his goal-kicking record, didn't he? There you go, straight through the middle. Little Holland, who's been impressive today. I like the way when he gets hold of the footy that he's very poised. He doesn't waste the ball. He always tries to find another target, and on that occasion, that's a great goal. This game is in the balance. 2 points, Sturt lead by, with the Eagles hitting back.
Just another great SANFL contest. We've seen a few this year. None better than this. Waltham up against Biglands, coming through hard off the back line there. Looked like Whelan. The ball's high. Floriani dives towards the ball, gets it down to Pearce. Pearce around his body, goes for the boundary line, looks for Colville. Colville will take this. He has the composure to get around. Heads up towards centre half forward. Where's Pavlik? He's in front, couldn't take the mark. He's back in there again for his second effort. David Mackay, just relax. Getting a bit excited there. In a commentary position. A former Eagle champion, David Mackay.
The Falcon producer could send down some Valium for you. We'll feed it to you again. They thought you'd been falling asleep in recent weeks. I've just been doping you. McGregor down to Pavlich. He snaps for goal. It's offline. It's a point. It brings them back within a point. It's a tight one at Woodville Oval. Stay with us on ABC Sport.
Is it my imagination, guys, or Sturt just looking like they've got the socks down and the legs looking heavy?
5-day heavy legs.
Oh, rubbish. They've only played 5 games this year. They should be match fitness and hardened by now. They should be at their peak at this stage of the year, being able to run out 2 games a weekend. Comes out. Chance here. 45 is Whelan, I think, who's come on in this last quarter. Floriani gets the ball, it's tapped over to him, kicks it up. Couldn't quite find a target. The ball's marked there by Geddes.
Well, I'll take it was my imagination then, Mark.
Well, there's a few players with socks down. It's high, it's a high ball. The Premier's there. With him also is Filippo. He dives over the top, but keeps possession. Needs to knock it out now. Can't get it there. Bruce Lennon's over the top. Quite happily just to concede the football. To be left on the ground. So a chance here now. The players just to catch their breath. Reset themselves, and away we go. Whelan safely to the boundary line. Puts it out over. Rogers couldn't keep it in. Colville will give it back to the boundary umpire.
Well, you can hear the buzz.
Look at Phil Carman jumping out of the coach's box. You don't think SANFL footy's serious, just have a look at that. Emotion high, and Phil Carman aging before our very eyes. Powell got the kick away. Lennon sits underneath it. Colville just applies a bit of pressure. The kick was very clever, and at the back door, Brent Fruin just forced across the line. Or was he? He sold it pretty well.
He had one intention of not touching that ball, letting it go over. He did it pretty well in the end.
Right idea. Biglands, who's rucked pretty well today for the Eagles, opposed to Burton. From behind it was Filippo. Big thump. The Premier, Kennett, gathers it in and goes on the left inboard. Here it goes to Squire. He takes off. Good work by Whelan. Just forced the loose ball, and the Eagles, after being in trouble, have recovered. Oh, what do you reckon, mate?
Well, Father Christmas down there is not happy.
Well, we'll put a red suit on him. You'll be back for Christmas.
Great work by Whelan, though. That ball could have gone on over the top. Sturt had a free run into goal.
Both sides desperate now, realising a one-point ball game. That's all the difference is. Players really are throwing themselves at the football, at the body, making sure there's no easy possession. Comes up to Pavlik again. Gives the contest every time. That too has been a great duel this afternoon. Robertson on Pavlik. He's had 10 kicks, 5 handballs, so 15 possessions to Pavlik, 7 marks as well. So he's had a good afternoon. Great mark there by Colville.
Hasn't he been tough, Tim?
He has been. He lost his cool in the third quarter, but it fired him up and fired the Eagles up as well. Got him back in the contest.
I like Spiro Darzanos. He really set it up. Was hard in the first quarter. Oh, Pavlik's big fly and claimed the mark. And the umpire agrees with him.
I had enough of it for mine.
Well, he has been terrific. It's the first chance we've had a look at him on the game match of the day. And he hasn't let us down. He has been quite something as he goes forward. Loose ball. It's Pearce. Quick snap for goal. 1 point. Oh, what about that? Play on, he said. And Dillon couldn't complete the mark.
No, you couldn't pay that. That was a good decision in the end. Great contest, though, and clever little kick by Pearce to get that out of the pack and get it going forward. They're moving it quicker now, the Eagles.
They are. Their leg speed, their intensity has increased in the second half. We've just seen them come back from the 21-point margin there at half-time to bring it now back to 1 point. Phil Cowan never really does look worried, but you can imagine what's going through his head right now. His side had controlled this game. They've let it slip. Last week they were so good. They were down by 10 goals the last quarter against the Magpies last Monday.
I tell you what, Mark, this makes it very interesting who we'll cover in our game of the day next week. Port and the Eagles at Albertson looks pretty tantalising, but we've got Western Central, which is a tough one. Glenelg, Norwood and Glenelg in the form that they're in. We've got 3 matches of the day to choose from. And you've got to say that even North and South's going to be a tough contest as the Eagles go goalward. Scores are locked away 11 minutes into the final quarter.
Tell me this, what will it do for the Eagles' morale if they can win this game today? A young side under Mark Micken working very hard. I'll tell you what, I reckon they'll be jumping around like a final if they can beat Sturt today. Let's just see how Sturt settle down in this next 10 minutes.
To ground. Coming up is Johnny Richter, who's been fairly quiet this afternoon. The Eagles have a chance now. They're inside 50, coming around to Ciccarelli. He puts it high. I think it's home for the Eagles. That's his first. The Eagles in front as 18 of the Blaze come and congratulate little Ciccarella.
Well, I was just saying about the morale on this side, and I was just talking about the enthusiasm, and there is a great picture of it. Ciccarella, brilliant piece of work. He's steadied up. You just watch this piece of work when he picks it up. Crumbs it. He's had an outstanding day. 23 kicks, 3 handballs, 26 possessions. Look at that. Great goal. And they all got around him. There was about a dozen players around him, patting him on the back. It's great morale out there at the moment.
Let's don't write the Double Blues off
Well,
yet.
I was just about to say, let's find out about the Double Blues. They've shown great character from this position before. The Eagles are pumping away, and it will take the Double Blues best to get back into this match. They're only 6 points down. Bruin, who has been terrific with Rogers. They combine nicely to Pearce. Out it goes wide. Now it's Jason James. The 5th game for him. Colville, whose second half has been extraordinary. Towards Pavlich at centre forward. He's marked it. Very rarely Robertson's beaten. Very rarely is he beaten twice in a row.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh, and he's hurt his ankle.
I saw Lindsay Heaven here today. I know he's a scout for Essendon. And I reckon he'd be looking at this kid. Geez, he landed on that nastily, didn't he?
And his knee, look how far his knee bent back.
Well, he's young and flexible because he's come up all right. Anybody else be in hospital.
Well, you're 6 points up. You've taken a big grab. You're 17. You'd kick this one with a broken ankle, Tim, wouldn't you? This is a big one. He's kicked 2 points so far in this match. And this is a team lifter, a confidence builder, and a reputation maker, all in one. And I think if there's a kid who can handle the pressure, he can do it, because he stays over it. And the goal umpire has a good look, and he's kicked it. Well, it's a great package, isn't it? 17 years of age, and you can do that.
Have a look at him. That lad, it's got such a foundation of a body to build on. I mean, I hope they don't go too silly with him in the next couple of years in the gym, but I tell you what a player in the making this bloke is. His hands, his leap, his strength already at 17 years of age.
He hasn't stopped growing it. The definition is there in the arms and the shoulders and the legs. What a game we have on our hands. The Eagles now, they extend their lead. Tremendous stuff. They go forward once again. They've got runners. They're playing at home. The handball should have been given. Holland decides to go up forward, get the ball in there quickly. 39 coming across with Matthews. Also there was Pavlik. So the Eagles fans realising this game all of a sudden is in their favour. 57 plays 45.
Rap Biglan's then just slammed it out of the middle of the ground. He tapped that ball nearly to centre half forward.
Richter on the left boot, goes forward, stolen away. Is that Soderstrom? Swoosden comes off. Irvin it was. Oh, well done, Biglins. He's been pretty good today, Tim.
I've been very impressed with him.
Now, he only played 2 senior games last year. I think he played 10 in the reserves. The rest he was injured. So he could be a bonus for them if he can stay fit this year. Whelan crashes through. The Double Blues under real pressure now. Rogers on the outer wing, chips it in, and underneath this one, Pearce. Well, he's come back from Queensland. He missed all of last year, and he's given them some drive. Whelan's feeling the effects of laying a tackle just moments ago, and Rogers drifts down. Oh, that was scrubby work. Oh, the Eagle fans didn't like that. Bigland, good reach. 33 is Robert Shirley, stays over the top, it comes back. That was very clever, he left everyone standing. Now it's a high bomb, who wants it? Big fly. Oh, what a spectacular big grab.
Scotty Matthews.
Scotty Matthews has got it. He just took off into space. They send footballers into space every 2 minutes. I'd like to see that.
That was incredible.
That is the mark of the year. Name it now and label it.
Commitment.
Oh,
Scotty Matthews.
Doesn't come any better than that, fellas. That is just the hairs in the back of your neck are standing up.
Well, he came 6 deep and jumped over everybody and kept going.
I couldn't do that on a trampoline.
Well, Scotty Matthews has kicked 2. The Eagles
to kick it.
Are playing on emotion. He's 45 metres out and he sprayed it off to the left. It's a point. The Double Blues might be able to regroup from here.
Well, it's a pity he couldn't finish it off. But David, they'd need to be pretty good if they can regroup from here, because I just feel the momentum is so with the Eagles at the moment. They're just pumping the ball into the forward lines at the moment, and the Blues are just under the hammer.
They're 3 kicks down now, the Blues, and they're going to win this game. Threadgold wants to go down the middle of the ground. He's picked out Biglan's, the biggest player out there. It's not Biglan's, in fact, it's number 18.
McGregor.
Which McGregor has just come back on. McGregor can see movement up forward. He goes towards Matthews again. Great work there by Powell, just using his strength to hold the football in the air.
One of the Double Blues' best, Tim. Powell.
He's been very steady, hasn't he?
Ventura on the left boot forces it up to Squire, who was also extravagant in his possessions in the middle of the game. Towards the far side, and that is a very good grab. Burton in front of Fruin. We talked about him earlier, Tim, giving a contest. Well, he's just giving everything today. Has 1 goal, but he's attacked and attacked. Rogers dumps the ball towards the line, the defensive side of play. Twit skirts the pack, comes around, squares it up. He's gone for goal. Oh, right on the line, it was Floriani.
Pick up field.
But there's an FAD right on the goal line, if you don't mind. And Twit's feeling the effects.
Oh. Mark Micken won't be happy with that. Let's just have a look at it. Twit spins around, gets his kick away. Filippo dived in late. Was it that late?
The umpire thought so, that's all that counts. And the Double Blues get one. They reel back in the Eagles. It's a tight game at Woodville Oval. Have a look at this now. It's back within 7 points.
Well, Sturt really need to answer then. It's the 18-minute mark of the quarter. They really needed to answer. I thought Phillippo was already in the air.
Bit high with the elbow too, I think, over the top of Twit.
Yeah,
the elbow was up.
Fair enough.
8-10 plays 8-3, a 7-point ball game. Back in the middle, it'll be Waltham up against Bigland, who's rucked tirelessly all afternoon. Waltham gets his hand on the ball. Bigland's second effort was good. Irvin couldn't take it. It's taken away by Colville. He'll be collected by Lennon. The umpire will come in and ball up.
He's been good today, Colville. Got his head over the football again. Sturt fighting hard. They know that this centre break's going to be hard. Colville, 15 kicks and 8 handballs today. 23 possessions. That's a reasonable game, isn't it?
And most of them have been picked up in the second, third and fourth quarters because he didn't start or really start performing in the first quarter. In other matches this afternoon, at Elizabeth Oval, Port Adelaide 76, Central District 46. 5 goals the margin there. And look at Glenelg just wiping the floor with West Adelaide at Lamoureux. I think the Tigers like the bush. Weatherald appeals for a free kick. Doesn't get one. The umpire just passes a caution. We're 19.5 minutes in. Still time for either side to win this match. It's been a great match on the ABC match of the day. Weatherald, a high one. Kennett underneath it, strong body work. Got his arms around it. Lennon was taken too high, said the umpire, and takes the free kick from the midfield.
Clever work by Lennon then. Got tackled and got himself underneath the arm. It's experience.
He releases, goes out towards Patura. Patura's got White moving. He goes towards Ferguson. He can mark. He does. It was set up for him beautifully there by Patura. Ferguson quickly to his feet, gets around, gets the ball up forward. Ball's taken by Nathan Irvin. Irvin outside 50, just beyond him. Goes short back to Ferguson. Double Blues content to keep possession. Good quick kick there by Ferguson. Looking for Burton, couldn't find it. The ball's punched out over the line. He thrown in.
Great work by Pearson. Courage to come across the front of a pack and punch that ball away. Excellent work.
21 minutes into the final quarter. It's the Eagles by 7 points. Pearce showing trademark courage. Thumped that one to the line. Now tries to receive the handball, but he can't. Twit was very clever to cut off and intercept the handball. Colville, what was he thinking? This is a tight one. Well done, Squire. Dispatched the kick forward into space. It'll sit for Maloney, who lifts the eyes. They're back within a point, the Double Blues. This game is still in the balance. Maloney gets his first, and the Double Blues are back within a point.
Well, right when the game had to be won, Sturt kept in line with the football. Ferguson smashed through, gave the opportunity to Squire, who, look at that, good work by Ferguson to knock the ball out of Colville's hands. Squire clever because he knew he didn't have much room, squeezed the kick out. Maloney off one step. That's a good goal. There's such a strong, mature side, Sturt.
Back in the middle, 1 point ball game. Walden gets the hand down quickly to Lennon. Back to Richter. The kick wasn't good. It finds Floriani. Floriani up towards centre half forward. Big Pavlik used the body beautifully, nudged him out, and took the mark.
Well, he needs to be as mature as he was with his last opportunity for goal when he kicked it, because it's a very important one in the shape of this game.
Oh, it just wriggles the body, just loosening the muscles up. Comes in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps on its way. Oh, a mature head on a very young shoulders is young Pavlik. That was a tremendous kick.
Mark Narley, if you had a checkbook, what would you be doing?
You would look at this player. He's still growing, still young, still mature. Sorry, still a young player with a young mind. But look at that. That's just a great mark over the top.
Jeez, he read that well, didn't he? I'm impressed the way he has steadied up on both occasions and kicked the goal.
From 17 years of age, 193 in height, 88 kilograms. He's only in his 5th game. He's kicked 13 goals up to the day. He's had 2 this afternoon in the last quarter. Great effort.
As the margin's out to 7 points, the midfield is Lennon releasing the handball. Squire to Richter. They try to combine to move it out of the middle. Filippo holds the ball. He's held by Maloney. And that one's a dead heat. Umpire Inge will bounce. Well, doesn't matter whether you're young or old, you'll be enjoying this one at Woodville Oval. A very big crowd enjoying the contest between 2 and 3. Sturt are second. The Eagles are third, but the Eagles, if they win this one, will move into second spot. Clever work, Colville over the top. Holland held his ground pretty well. They're combining. Floriani, who's been important in this final quarter, has had some very important possessions. Drives the ball forward. Robinson picks up the crumb and blasts it forward into space. Over the top of it now and running forward. Jason James lifts the eyes, goes deep into the pocket. David. Where's the target? He's got it. McGregor. Matthews. It's Matthews who took that spectacular mark just 5 or 6 minutes ago and now reels in another strong mark.
Well, he needs to kick this, doesn't he? He's going to come back. He needs to kick this goal just to really steady the ship for the Eagles. But Scotty Matthews, since he came on in that third quarter, just gave life to the forward line, just provided options. And the way he's attacked the ball, I've been very impressed with that.
16 games last year for Scotty Matthews. 7 goals and 14 the year before.
Geez, I had some thoughts of going to the toilet.
Don't be going anywhere. As Scotty Matthews kicks it off to the left, he scores a point. The Eagles lead by 8 points. And a goal there might have been the sealer.
Well, that was
still in the balance.
That was a difficult shot that time, but the one before when he took that sensational mark, I wish he just had taken a bit more time with his shot and perhaps just steadied the game for the Eagles. But, geez, they've done some hard work to get back into this contest, and they're just not lying down. And Sturt's such a mature side as well. It's still in the balance. It's anybody's.
It's red goal to bring the ball back in. As we heard, it's an 8-point margin. At the back was Pavlik, pushed the ball out over the line very intelligently, just wasting time. 65, 57, 25 and a half minute mark of this last quarter. At this stage, my money's on the Eagles, David.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting observation. They're 7 points up at 25 and a half minutes. It's going to be hard for Sturt to even get back and square the ledger. You'd have to rank the Eagles from here. Colville at the bottom of the pack was taken high play on to the umpire. They're letting the players sort it out in the late stages of this match. Not a bad option. And Squire is injured.
Well, overall, I'd have to say 80% of the umpiring has been good.
You didn't like 20%?
Always the controversialist.
Waltham bumps it down. Lennon dispatches a kick forward. Sikalella couldn't quite take it. Threadgold does. Streaks away from Dillon. The handball over the top to Kennett. Kennett needed to work, and he did. He worked very hard, just forcing it into the corridor, into space. Pachura grubbers one forward. Maloney, he's normally a defender, playing as a half forward late in this game. He grubbers one towards White. Hall did well to force him out of the contest. Back he comes, needs support. Floriani, hasn't he been terrific in this final quarter? Off it goes in the handball to Robert Shirley, who heads towards the boundary line. Desperate times in the final moments of this game from Woodville Oval.
Well, the Eagles, for mine, the work rate of all the players from the beginning of the game has been outstanding. They just keep at it.
Well, this has been a great contest. We see Colville going over the top of the football again. His work rate in the second half has been outstanding. The little gingerhead redhead. Have a look at him. He's worked hard. I was very impressed 2 seasons ago. I saw him for the first time. Gavin Colville in screen. The ball's thrown in again. The Eagles are not yet prepared to put a smile on their face, realising they're playing one of the best sides in the competition in the double blues. It's up forward again. A chance here for the Eagles now. Just keep bashing and crashing, pushing it forward. But Powell has other ideas. He wants it back. He wants this side one. Goes up. Biglands goes back. It's over his head. Coming through is Twitt. Twitt will keep his feet. There's no doubt about that. Very clever, very balanced. He gives it across there to Richter. Richter goes further to field looking for Ferguson. He's got support. Comes in board to Weatherall. Weatherall's got time to steady. 45 metres out. Puts it on its way. And it's home. For the margin back to 2 points.
Well, you needed a goal. It's incredible. It's been a great game. Both sides have really crashed in from the beginning, but so many names that you can put to Eagles players. Look at Weatherall here. Just take off, steady up. He knows what has to be done. Direct through the goals. And put Sturt within 2 points.
Last chance for the double blues is 28.5 minutes.
You've got to suggest that 2 points. They need to force the ball forward and get a goal. It'll be a 2-point ball game to the Eagles, or if Sturt can get a goal, they might just get home by 4 points. Bigland's down, Squire. This is what the double blues wanted. They go forward into space. Burton couldn't take it. Fruin, who's been outstanding today, goes hard at the contest and is jumped upon by Burton. We are 28.5 minutes as the seconds tick away. The ball is on the double blues forward line and players congregate. Good experience by the Eagles. Lennon dumps it down. Loose ball falls. Floriani, gee, I love his game in this final quarter. And Dillon marks. The Eagles can slow it right down or explode into space. Off goes Colville. There's the target. He's got him if he wants him. Sitting wide. Ignored. The long option taken. I guess that's the Port Adelaide training, isn't it? A long one forward to Sorensen. The Eagles win this one by 2 points, and the Double Blues lose their second game in 5 days. Jubilation as the Eagles get up by 2 points at home, and that means, Tim, that the Double Blues have never won at Woodville Oval since the new Eagles were formed.
Well, they couldn't break the drought, could they, today? Just such a work rate. Incredible work rate by the Eagles today. Just from start to finish, they were determined to just hit in, persist all day, and it really has paid off. You see young Matthew Pavlik on the screen at the moment. What an outstanding talent that boy is. Look at Hall, Stephen Hall, very, very impressed with the win. I told you before, David, what would it do for their morale? Have a look at the boys.
And they've got Port Adelaide next week, Tim.
Well, they have at Albertson Oval, so they're going to be going into that game with a lot of confidence and a lot of morale from this game. Jason Dillon in the last seconds here, was sort of criticising what he was doing. He was holding on, wasting time. That's what he was doing, and that was good. Maturity shown by such a young side. I was impressed with the Double Blues because they never really hit top gear, yet they were always in the game. It was incredible, unbelievable.
As we go down to Michael Parsons.
Yeah, with me, the captain of a pretty excited bunch of players right now, Andrew. A fantastic win for the club.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of people wrote us off at the start of the year, and we're sort of putting a lot of hard work. The kids are coming on, and it's reaping the rewards.
You mentioned those kids. You've got a bunch of young guys out there that really know how to get hold of the footy and run around.
Yeah, I suppose they're out there enjoying themselves. They don't know there's any pressure involved with it, so they're just going out there and enjoying themselves.
And you've got a big bloke at centre-half forward, 17 years old, in Matthew Pavlich. He is a talent.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we've only seen him for 1 year, but yeah, he's certainly been in great form, and he'll continue on, hopefully, through the year.
And that cements second spot on the ladder. I can hear a few people generating a chant now. A few people around here pleased to see some success for the Eagles.
Well, we've got a few believers now, haven't we? You know, like the players are doing a lot of hard work. All of a sudden, the crowd's starting to come on board, so if we can continue, who knows what can happen.
And just the reaction of the players at the end of the game there, they seem to be a great feeling just amongst a bunch of lads that are all about the same age, except for a couple of veterans.
Yeah, I suppose I drag the average age up a bit, but no, we're enjoying the footy, and that's what it's all about. If you enjoy your footy, generally the results happen.
And Mark seems to have a pretty good game plan structured. Everybody seems to understand what they've got to do.
Yeah, we're playing with a little bit of passion. We're enjoying ourselves, and the rewards are coming on the board.
Andrew, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us, and a fantastic win. Go and enjoy a beer. Thank you.
Good on you, Michael. Good on you, Andrew Rogers. 34 years of age, Andrew Rogers. He still regularly finishes in the top 5 in the Eagles. He's won a few over the years. Now, Michael Barker's 26, Brent Fruin's 26. I think the next man's probably 22 or 3.
Oh, it's a very young side, isn't it? But we saw today, they just showed that they can persist all day, and they really showed some maturity in the dying moments of that game. Very impressed with the Eagles today.
And I guess, Tim, it's going to be very difficult for you to pick your best 3 players from each team.
Well, from the Eagles, I just had so many names flooding into me throughout the day. The work rate was tremendous. Sometimes their forward work wasn't as good as it could be. But for Sturt, just shows you how good Sturt are, I reckon, because they really didn't hit top gear. Yet, you know, you just couldn't put a finger on any sort of 1 or 2 players. For the Sturt Football Club, I gave Powell, Threadgold and Squire the best 3 there. They really just put in. Threadgold was outstanding at full-back. Powell's work in the back pocket, really good. And Squire just thought kept on and kept on. But for the Eagles, it's really hard to pick best players. I just threw a net over about 5 or 6. Chickalella and Colworth, where their work on the ball was outstanding, along with Pearce. Also, Fruin, I thought at centre-half back and Hall at full-back was brilliant. Biglands and Pavlik, just outstanding prospects, and well done to all those lads.
Fair enough, as we go back down to Michael Parsons.
Yes, and with me, one of the stars of the day. 2 fantastic goals in the last quarter, Matthew, to get the win on the board. Great win for the club.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we sort of set ourselves in the next 2 weeks against Sturt and Port. I mean, if we beat them, you know, that sort of gives us a lot of recognition in the top 2 or 3, so it was a great win by the lads. It was fantastic.
And your own form, you must be pleased with the way the ball's sticking in your hands at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I dropped a couple I should have taken today, but yeah, most definitely. I mean, to come from Sacred Heart and, you know, play the first, 5 games and be in a winning side, it's just fantastic.
And your goal kicking is something you've been working on in particular?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I missed a couple today, should have nailed, but yeah, it's certainly have to work in the next couple of weeks to make sure I nail those ones, yeah.
And how do you find, what is the main difference for you, footy at senior level compared to the school football you played last year?
Oh, everything. Quicker, more physical. It's just the skill level's high. It's just a huge step.
And your coach at the moment, Mark Micken, he seems to have a good game plan. Are you pleased with what's going on there, and what are the things you particularly like?
Oh, yeah, I can't ask for anything more from Mark. He's been great personally for me and for the team. He's been absolutely sensational. Just the sort of the freedom I've got running up forward, and he just asked me to run around, so that's just been great. Yeah, can't ask for more from Mark.
Fantastic, Matthew. Congratulations on the game today. You've been an exciting injection into this side, and I think you guys are on the way this year by the looks of things.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I think we'll go real well. Duh.
Okay, thanks,
Cheers.
Matthew. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you to Matthew Pavlich. Now, his dad, Steve, was a tough, hard half-back flanker. This guy's a flamboyant, dominating centre-half forward.
I still think he's got some toughness in him too. I think
yes, he has.
With maturity, he's going to be a real good player at that centre-half forward position.
Well, I think if Steve Pavlich and Jan Pavlich, his mother, have got anything to do it, he'll be a tough young kid. What about his uncle, Mark Pavlich, who was pretty tough? I remember him playing a couple of games in a row for the Eagles with dislocated shoulders. He used to pop them in and keep playing. They're all pretty tough.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? But look, he is a good kid, and I think that the future of him, well, I'd like to be his manager, put it that way.
Speaking of good kids, what about Scotty Matthews' mark? We stamped him early as the mark of the year. It'll take some beating, and if you enjoy seeing some high-flying action, have a look at this one.
Have a look at this. They run it in. Kick it up to that centre-half forward position. Just launched himself at it. Got like a rocket launch off the Sturt opponent's back, and really took a great grab, and that's when the Eagles were absolutely surging. See him stand on Raiders there and just launch himself into the footy. Great commitment of the footy.
I just love seeing those. I wonder whether we're going to have a chance to have another look at it. Perhaps before the end of the show, we promise you, we'll give you another chance of a look at that one. I think it already is the mark of the year. As we go to the final scoreboard here at Woodville Oval, it shows that the Eagles trailed at every break. They were down 9 points at quarter time, 21 points at half-time. They were only 8 points down at three-quarter time, but coming home and finally winning by 2 points.
Well, look, that's when they got themselves back into it. In the third quarter, they just kicked 3 goals to the 1 by Sturt, and they had to be in touch. And if they hadn't have been, then perhaps they would have lost a little bit of confidence. But they were in touch, and their work rate was tremendous. In the end, they were running all over the top. For the Eagles, Matthews, when he came on the third quarter, I said earlier, just gave him a great option, just kept at it and at it. He kicked 2. Pavlich 2 at centre-half forward, we've spoken a lot about. Dillon, Colville, Holland, James and Chikalella 1 each. For Sturt, White kicked 3. He had a bit of a burst there in the third, I think it was the second quarter when he got 2. White, Wisdom got 2. Burton, Weatherall, Ferguson, Twitt and Maloney 1 each.
And statistically, Mark Nayley again.
Yes, we just see there, David and Tim. I mean, the Eagles were on top in most departments there. Just individually, Chikalella had 27 possessions, 24 kicks and 3 handballs. Colville, 25 possessions. Pavlich at centre-half forward, 10 marks. He had 18 possessions for the afternoon. Floriani, 19 possessions, and Pearce, 18. And for the double Blues, Powell with 22 from a back pocket, and also his runs on the ball. Lennon with 23 from a wing. Squire with 16, and Irvin with 16. Just a great game. Just a great, absolute, the atmosphere here today was just sensational.
It's wonderful, Tim, isn't it, to see Mark Nayley with some enthusiasm.
Oh, he got excited, didn't he? Especially in that third quarter. I thought he was going to have a go at you.
We've got to get him back on his medication, no doubt about that. As in other matches around town last night, it was Norwood and South Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Norwood big winners. Christian O'Brien kicked 7 goals to spearhead Norwood home.
Well, they seem to be back on track, don't they? Port Centrals today. Port having their first win there since '94, a 6-goal win out there, 37 points in the end. And Glenelg West still in progress, but there's no fear of the Bays losing that one. They're 9 goals up at the moment.
At Lameroo, I think they'll enjoy the trip home, and North Adelaide, of course, had the bye. In AFL football, last night it was St Kilda beating Carlton at the MCG. Today, Hawthorn, what about that? 2 points against Geelong at Cardinia Park, or Shell Park, the home of the Cats. That's a great victory. And Essendon defeating Richmond in a tough one.
Well, Hawthorn have got a great record at Cardinia Park. So.
Tonight, of course, we've got West Coast and the Western Bulldogs at Subiaco. Who's your money on there?
Oh, the West Coast, just the way they've been playing at the moment, but you've got to see they've got to fall over sometime, and maybe the Bullies can do it over there at Subiaco.
The Brisbane Lions, that's a tough one at the Gabba.
Yeah, I'd have to go just home ground advantage there, go for the Lions, but Melbourne, a very tough, hard side, so good contest tonight.
I guess, Tim, you'll be tipping Port Adelaide in Showdown 5.
Well, if I didn't, I can't go shopping in the Port anymore. It's simple as that. So, yeah, I'll stick with Port Adelaide.
Collingwood and the Kangaroos at the MCG. Sydney and Fremantle at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So a couple of great matches there. What about next week? We look ahead and we thought about our match of the day, and there were 3 tantalising games. Port and the Eagles at Albertson Oval, and that's the one we're going with at 2:15. You'll have to join us given the Eagles' form. Western Central, we could easily have gone there. And what about with Glenelg's form? We could have gone to Glenelg Oval for the Glenelg and Norwood game.
Well, let's go to all 3. See how we go.
Be nice. We've got North and South, the Civil War at Prospect Oval. Sturt, of course, enjoyed the bye. Well, interesting one today, Tim. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Looking forward to going to Northern Territory for a couple of games in a couple of years. We're just $500,000 short to covering games.
Is that all? You can't pay that up?
I'll fix that up.
So there you go.
Not a problem at all. Well, I'm looking forward to next week.
Oh, look, next week, the Eagles, the way they played today, and Port in such good form at Alberton, I reckon it'll be a great contest, and I'm very impressed with what Mark Micken's done with the club since he's been there.
And the strengths of Port Adelaide?
Oh, where aren't they? I mean, they've just got strengths everywhere, haven't they? Darryl Poole back on the side today. I mean, they've just got numbers everywhere, so it's going to be a great contest and a good test for this young side out here today.
I guess they're going to be tested on the intimidation factor because they are young.
Yeah, I suppose there, but just maturity and just when you've got to do things in certain games. Today, I thought that they did it very well, so well done to the boys.